Good afternoon and welcome to the Adelaide League Matchday Live. Today our round 3 match is at Goodwood Saints as they do battle with Port District's Magpies. Today's live stream is brought to you by Filming Footy in partnership with Dartfish and Sports Interactive. And now we welcome your commentary team, Phil Hurden, Sean Jacko Jackson, and Tony, the coach's coach, Neil. Good afternoon and welcome to the Adelaide League Matchday.
Well, g'day footy fans, welcome to Goodwood Oval, welcome to the OTR Division 1, the Adelaide Footy League, strengthening communities through footy. Our match of the day, thanks to Sports Interactive and Filming Footy, between the Goodwood Saints and Port Districts. Right now you're looking at some action from the B grade, where it is Goodie Saints 11-10, make that 10-11-71, Port Districts are 6-3-39. My name is Phil Hurden. Great to have you with us this afternoon, enjoying our new broadcasting facilities here, the mobile truck. Our truck will broadcast. Joining me, part of the commentary team this afternoon, co-caller, voice of the Adelaide Footy League, Tony Neal. Good afternoon, Tony.
How are you, Phil and Sean? Isn't it magnificent to be here? And looks like the ground at the moment's quite solid out there. I went out there at three-quarter time and had a bit of a walk around. It's in good nick. There's a little bit of a curve to the oval as well, so if we do get some rain later on, it should just wash away. So, yeah, fantastic day for football. Bit of a breeze, do you reckon, Sean, to the right of our viewers' screens?
Well, we'll get our new intrepid weatherman, Benny, to give us a spill on the... I don't want to cut his lunch, Tony. You don't have a dog and bark yourself. We've got a weatherman, professional weatherman with us this week.
And we'll be getting to Ben very shortly. But Jacko, four-time premiership coach, welcome. How do you enjoy the new digs here?
Good, yes. Look, I'll tell you what is exciting. The Goodwood Saints, obviously the new clubhouse is not far away and it looks fantastic, but a really good crowd building up here, boys. Much bigger crowd than I think we've seen the first 2 weeks. Would that be a fair call?
I thought the crowd at Payneham wasn't too bad, to be honest, for the opening round. Adelaide Uni a bit harder where we were sort of in that lovely social club area.
I think
we own a bit of a construction site. It has a construction site feel to it though, doesn't it? We've got the portaloos, you can see the Atco huts behind there. But when it's all going to be finished, it's going to be an absolutely magnificent place to come and watch some football. A place, Jacko, that you always enjoy coming to. It's very easy for you.
Oh, seriously, the one suggestion I'd make the Goodwood Saints Footy Club is, can you put some signs around the place? This is the hardest oval in Australia to find. I've never ever been able to make a beeline to this place, but when I get here, as I said, I guess one of the things that stands out to me is a bit of an intimate atmosphere. This is one of the smallest ovals in the league, and the crowd are surrounding right around the oval, and it certainly it makes for a good atmosphere when the game starts, and we're probably only 10-15 minutes away from starting.
Yep. Well, of course, it's a ground that's surrounded on 3 sides by tram lines and train lines.
You can get a bus tram here.
And so if you think that you're up the tram line, you might be at the train line. It can confuse some, but not a new member of our group, our broadcasting team, who is going to be our intrepid boundary rider through the season. Of course, we talk about Ben Tippett. Ben, good afternoon to you. Welcome to the team.
Afternoon, Phil. Afternoon, boys. Thanks for having me.
So, whilst we are a little bit on the early side, Ben, might get your thoughts. Tony started you off already.
He did cut my lunch.
Your thoughts on the ground conditions and how it's looking out there today?
Well, as Tony said, it does look quite dry. A few clouds around. The Elders weather app did say there's a 70% chance of rain today, but I think the wind's probably the biggest factor today. Going to the right of screen, maybe 2 or 3 goals, boys.
Well, Ben, is it true that we've suggested that you have to do the show in the nude so you get a real climatisation of the weather?
No comment on that.
Ben, it's just the start of what you're in for as our intrepid boundary rider.
How do we get the term intrepid, I think?
Nude, that means.
I better work on that.
It was
one.
actually a Nickelodeon thing. I won't go into that. Let's talk about the game itself. Of course, we've got 2 teams that need a win. Goody Saints have lost their first two to St Peter's last week, and I think Prince's the week before. Port Districts have been on the edge of two. All right. Oh, looks like I need a microphone. Port Districts have been on the edge of two lopsided results. Goody Saints are zipping 2. Tony, what can you tell us about the Goodwood Saints?
Yeah, well, I had a quick chat with the coach.
The duck. Quack, quack.
The duck, quack, quack, according to Shawnee and Luke Donaldson. So, first-year coach out here this year. And just in regards to their squad, they've got a good blend of, young, mid-career and experience. And they've got a new player in, Ollie Johnson, that's apparently provides a real spark for them. So they're happy with their blend. The talls and smalls, they're probably a little bit smaller, but they feel that they can stretch the opposition. And in regards to his assistant coaches, the rotations and so on, so his assistants have all got roles as well, which is pretty straightforward, Sean. One of the things I will say, the strengths and deficiencies, I guess, Goodwood, by the looks of their scores last week, really good forward power. They had 24 scoring shots, although they got done against a team that only had 20. So you can have 24 scoring shots, but what's your accuracy? Has that been improved this week? And the second thing is, how is their defence? So if their forward power is good, how is their defence going to work? And we'll come back to me in a moment in regards to some of the keys, I think, to the game.
Alrighty, so the Goody Saints, well, the last 6 years, they have, you can see there, 2014 and 2015 premiers. And what about that 2014 season? 20 wins, 1 loss. You do not see that very often in the Adelaide Footy League. I think that 1 loss was by 4 points in the second semi-final. In recent years, they were 8th, 6th, and then have made the finals the last 2 years. Went out in straight sets in 2018 and lost last year's elimination final. Thanks to Interchanger, we're about to see their lineup. Any thoughts about the team that you see in front of you, Tony?
Well, as I said, number 29 there, Oliver Johnson, has come in, and apparently a bit of a highlights package for them. They've also got some players that have had some sample experience, and I talk about Scott Blessing at West Adelaide, Angus Clark, number 18's been at Norwood, Oliver Johnson, of course, at Westies, and Tom Lynch, number 13. He's also, I think he's in the back pocket down there. He's also been on an SANFL
Yeah, he's
list.
been at West Adelaide the last 3 years, Tommy.
Yeah, so, and look, probably the big out for them, Max Thring.
And George Thring. Yep.
And George, there's a Thring or two there, isn't
Yeah.
there, Sean? So, look, just on Goodwood too, the game itself, a couple of the keys here, it's going to be a game of combat. Just looking, Sean, Port Districts, I've always had this thing in my mind, they've always been a really good physical team. And one of the things, if you're up against a physical team, is okay, match them physically and see if you can beat them mentally. That's one of the keys. If we can spread the load and belief. So if they can get a good start and a bit of belief in, it's their home ground, it's a big day for them as well. And so the belief is really good. Stay in the game mentally for long periods.
And the players to watch for the Saints, Tony?
We had Oliver Johnson, and we did have Max Thring, but he's out now, so we'll find another one.
It is Mason Ellis.
Mason Ellis.
It's his 100th game today.
And you can see there the Indigenous jumper that Goody Saints will be wearing this afternoon. More on that soon. We do have a final score in the B grade. It was Goodwood 12-11-83, District 6-3-39 by 44 points. In the C grade, Goodwood 14-9-93, Port Districts 7-8-50. So that's the Goody Saints. Let's have a look at Port Districts, who, well, haven't they had a fluctuating fortnight? Just quickly, their last 6 years. Look, they've been in the middle of everything. Between 7th and 5th, did make the finals in 17 and 18, didn't get past the elimination final. 8 and 10 last week. They were battling with the Saints for that 5th and final spot, and the Saints won. Suspect it may be similar this year. What are your thoughts, Jacko, on Port Districts?
Yeah, look, one thing Port Districts has done exceptionally well this year is they've recruited well, and they are very much a family club. I'm not sure what it is down on the peninsula, but it almost seems like if you're not related, you can't get a game, and I'll give you some examples of that. 2 boys recruited in this year are Jack and Cooper Gaffney, both played at Woodville West Orange. Jack's probably played 60-odd league games and Cooper a half a dozen, both very good players. Their older brother Mitch has been at Port Districts for 3 or 4 years now. So you've got 3 Gaffney brothers, but along with that they've got 2 cousins, Ben Gould and Timmy Savril. So there's 5 in a family connection there. Then you've also got Lockie Gregg and Dougie Gregg, 2 brothers, and also Zach Hawkins and Harry Hawkins, who are brothers. Harry unfortunately out with injury. So it seems to me at Port Districts, it's not so much what you know or maybe even who you know, it's who you're related to that counts. But their recruiting, as I said, has been exceptional. Last week, Stephen Carter, ex-Port Magpies son, Miller, played his first game, kicked 3 goals at full forward. Looks lively. Gavin Shepherd, their last year's best and fairest, playing at centre forward, started exceptionally well last week. A couple of players also of note. Tommy Corcoran, who will be keeping a close eye on today, played for Port Magpies in the SANFL Grand Final last year. And Matty Wiestra, who played state amateurs a couple of years ago, was also back at the club last year. So a lot of players also that have left the club for different reasons, and mainly in travelling overseas, are back at the club. And Nathan Wright is a bloke who played C-grade footy after having 4 years off last year. He's back playing in the A-grade today. And also one other whose name escapes me spent some time overseas. So really strong Port Magpies connection here too. There's probably 7 or 8 players in this team that have spent some time at Port Magpies. Jack Foster, son of Richard, is playing. Sean Davidson, the captain, spent some time at Port Magpies. Zach Hawkins, and I mentioned Tommy Corcoran, all at Port Magpies. And also some junior Eagles players, Sammy Mackay in the back pocket. So I think overall, Port Districts has got a good blend of youth and experience. And I think they'll acquit themselves very well today.
Well, of course, it was often thought that Port Districts was sort of like the Magpies C-grade side.
Yes,
if you weren't
correct.
with the Magpies, you're at Port Districts. And, of course, the zones all changed. And Port Districts are now in the heart of the Eagles zone. So
they are
that's
indeed.
created a bit of a colour change. Your players to watch for Port Districts?
Yeah, so we're going to have a look at Tommy Corcoran. As I said, played in the SANFL Grand Final for the Port Magpies last year. He's going to play in the centre, number 11. Generally plays as a key defender. And the other one is Cooper Gaffney, who small rover, number 25, as I mentioned earlier, spent some time at Woodville West Torrens and is part of the Gaffney threesome. And they're the offspring of Carolyn and Peter Gaffney, who are terrific people and a great family, the Gaffneys.
All right, that's a preview of both sides. Time to get a bit more of an official look at the conditions we have here today. Thanks, of course, to the Elders Weather app. The man who's going to be out on the ground facing those conditions is Ben Tibbett. Ben, tell us what's happening.
Thanks, Phil. As we said before, quite dry down here. The wind's probably the biggest factor today. It actually seems to be swirling just through the trees here. On the weather app, it says 17 kilometres an hour, the breeze. It did start going towards the right of screen. Now it's going towards the left of screen. So should be interesting. There's also a 70% chance of rain. But as Tone said before, it's quite dry underfoot. So if it does rain, it shouldn't affect conditions too much.
Thank you very much, Ben. Of course, this is one game of 4 in the OTR Division 1, and of course one game of about 50 at A-grade level across the Adelaide Footy League. If you are watching us live through the YouTube, make sure that you say g'day in the chat. The other Div 1 games this afternoon, we have St Peter's hosting Adelaide Uni, only Mercedes and Brighton, so we've got the Jets and the Bombers, a dogfight at Kingswood Oval. Princes are hosting Ross Trevor. That'll be a huge game at Park 9. And at Paynham, the defending premiers that have started zip and 2, well, they're going to need a confidence booster. They might just get it at the hands of Athelston. We're waiting for the teams to line up shortly. Always good when we have a schedule and then it doesn't quite run to schedule. Whilst we're around the grounds, we don't have the pie today. That was my lunch. That is the specialty here at Goodwood. A marinated chicken roll with the coleslaw, with the onion. Just $6. Great value. A delectable delight,
Phil,
for lunch today.
Did that have feathers in there as well? Have a
I
look
know,
at the
look,
size of it.
the chicken was cooked to perfection. And so if you're ever down at Goodwood Oval, make sure you check out what I think is their delicacy of the club. And I reckon that's going to be one of my new assignment, boys. Get down here early. Once everything's set up, check out their best item, because I think I'm certainly the expert when it comes to eating them.
No better man for the job than Phil. And we did have the President, Craig Scott, walk past a little bit earlier, President of Goodwood Saints, that is, and ask if there's anything we need. We said no, but having seen that burger, Craig, the word is if you could drop a half a dozen chicken burgers through, we'd be...
Well, that's why we've got a banjo rider now. We have a banjo rider who can roam and collect all these things for you at half time.
Just interesting, while the teams are warming up, for the viewers at home, when you see the little shacks over there on the right-hand pocket end, that's actually the change rooms where the players are getting changed while the new facilities are being built. Little idiosyncrasies of the Adelaide Footy League ground. So no fence, that's one of my little pet things. So there is a gutter around, but no fence. But over the other side, we have got the electronic scoreboard, very much like Adelaide Uni last week. But this one's coloured in the Goodwood Saints colours. So they're lining up now, Phil. So I'll let you take proceedings
so
here.
It's Indigenous round today, and just the way it is, it's going to be on the opposite side of the ground. So apologies if you can't quite hear. You can see some of the Indigenous jumpers there. So the Goodwood Saints Footy Club, they've worked hard to establish a current position within their community and the football fraternity. They do strive to maintain and improve what they do, and as such place a strong emphasis on serving their community and supporting important causes, and allows them to communicate their stance on being an inclusive and a socially responsible club. So the senior men's A-grade side today will be wearing an Indigenous jumper, which is we'll talk through shortly, and very shortly Ghana elder Carl Telfer on the other side of these players, unfortunately, will be conducting a welcome to country ceremony, which we will show due respects to and not talk through, and it's being introduced at the moment. We will be back in about 5 or 6 minutes at the end of this ceremony. Enjoy.
You, Jacko, you well?
this round there. We'll talk a little bit about the Guernsey shortly. Yep, so we're still checking some microphone issues. Thanks for watching the smoking welcoming ceremony. Let's quickly go round the team with tips before we get underway here. As the winner of the last 2 weeks, let me go first so you guys can work around that. I'm going to say that if you look at the head-to-head stats, the home team has won on the last 5 occasions, and I'm going to make that 6. I'm going to tip Goody Saints by 22. Ben.
Thanks, Phil. I saw Port District play last week, and they were very, very good. Had a big win over Athelston, so I'm going to pick them by 13 points.
Yes, I think you're on the money there, Big Benny. I'm also going to go for Port Districts on the back of the fact that Maximilian Thring, the man I was looking forward to calling with that name, Maximilian, never called a man with that name before, is not playing. And I think the odds have now swung in Port Districts' favour. I'm going for Port Districts by 8 points.
And for myself, very much along the same vein. They had a very good win last week, and that might just kick them off and running, and a bit of belief. Goody Saints might be a little bit shaky, so Port District by 15 points for me.
8, 13 and 15. One thing we neglected to mention, this is an important game for one perspective only. That is that there's no way known, I don't believe, that both of these sides can play in the 5. So whoever loses today, I think you could almost say they won't play finals. And both of these clubs would have thought coming into the season and would still have the aspiration of playing finals that they would make it. But I think after today, one of the sides will be gone.
Yeah, a bit hard to disagree with that, Jacko. There's 4 undefeated sides. There's 5 final spots. There's only 6 games remaining after this one. And whilst Goodwood are looking for their first win, Port Districts, they need to get some wins early because their final 3 games are against Ross Trevor, Prince Alfred and Brighton. Those 3 teams between them at the moment don't have a loss, so they've got to win now and build that up. So we've got Port Districts there in the grey, their away jumper. The black numbers on the grey is an interesting combination, and Goodwood Saints are in the special Indigenous jumper we'll go through shortly. Not too far from going underway, and I think we got a coin toss. Did we get a coin toss?
No.
Been and gone.
Just want to check with Ben on Elders app there. Ben, what's the wind direction, mate? It's really going down to that right-hand side for us here.
It is. Swung back to the right-hand side, 19 kilometres per hour on the Elders weather app.
Johnny!
All right, folks, so we're getting ready for proceedings now, and I'll tell you what, they're a fair-sized ruckman here. We've got both number 28, so Fraser Thorne for Port Districts. And number 19, it is Lachlan Ryan for Goody Saints. So umpire holds it aloft, and ladies and gentlemen, we are underway, and up it goes. Bit of a nil all there. Goodwood Saints just tapping it to the ground. 2 on to 1, 3 on to 1. A lot of players around the ball. Good push off there. So a bit of physicality already. Quick hands out. Port Districts now down the wing.
Yeah, nice quick movement there. Lovely quick hands. Unfortunately, Tommy Lynch has intercepted the boy from West Adelaide. Ex-Goodwood Saints Junior has the ball in his hands now. Not sure what to do. Looking sideways. Ends up looking like he's going to go down the line. He does. Short, but that's going to be marked by Tommy Corcoran, who played in the SANFL Grand Final for Port Magpies last year. So
Corcoran has it in front of the to-be baptised club rooms. Everything sort of reversal today. Most of the crowd, well, there's a fair bit in that pocket at the barbecue, is on the eastern side as the kickback. Not exactly what you want, but McInerney had some time to recover. He's going to go to the southeast pocket. So it is Port Districts heading to the city end. They're trying to work it through Zavi. A couple of hand passes here. You can see that is where the majority of crowd, and it is a good crowd here this afternoon. Hope they don't have the 1,000-person limit. As Davidson has it, he is sat upon on that half-forward flank. It'll be a stoppage 50 metres out from the District's goal. If you've just joined us, there's been no score, and you're with Tony Neal.
And that was the captain, Davidson, now on the bottom of the pack. So it's interesting there, just when they set up Port Districts, they've already shown their hand. They like to go around the outside and then back, kicking into this breeze. So ball's about 48. The ruckman contest. Goodwood just to blaze away down that wing. 3, 4 onto 1. 2 hands. Not quite taking the mark. Umpire's called play on. Pretty physical there, Sean.
Yeah, Luke McInerney there. He's a good competitor in the air. We saw him fumble the ball a little bit earlier, but he's bounced up pretty well, and he's developing nicely as a footballer. But Goodwood Saints have the ball in their hands now. It's been driven along. And unfortunately, it looks like Dougie Gregg, who's been able to intercept that ball, goes back down the same line. And Luke McInerney has it now, looking for options, coming across the far side of the ground to maybe Matty Weistra. No, Tommy Corcoran it is. And he kicks it out to Benny Gould, the wingman.
So Cooper Gaffney takes it. They're working it nicely. So certainly moving forward, Districts look more composed at the moment. Right in front of your broadcast booth. In fact, give them down a microphone, get a special comment. It's Gavin Shepherd with the ball.
Ex-Portland player, best and fairest winner from last year, and a very important player in their structure, who's Gavin Shepherd.
51 out to the top of the square, bounces through for a behind. We have our first score. Just before I go to Tony Neal, the umpires for today, field umpires Matt Harris and Paul Smith. On the boundary, Carl Smith and Robert Borchard, and waving the flags, Adrian Donaghy and Nathan Marshall. Tony.
So Ben Holtzbauer it is with the ball, just holding up proceedings here. He's kicking with the wind. Is he just going to bomb, or is he going to have a look? This way, that way, so on the right foot, gets it outside 50, a decent looking kick. Up they fly out, numbered there, and that's Sean Davidson again. He's had a good start. There's himself.
That's Tommy Corcoran there.
There's it, Tom Corcoran, no, so he has had a good start, but just a turnover, just as you mentioned it. So Lachlan Ryan, they just are holding things up inside the back 50 here, Goodwood Saints. So looking for a kick straight down the line again. Big pack will form, up and down. Geez, it fell through the hands there. Jacob Hughes plays on, turns around, forward they go, Sean.
Yeah, nice kick from Jacob Hughes. Unfortunately not taken by Nick Burgess, who generally plays as a defender. I'm surprised he's gone forward this year. He's been kicking goals, but allows Port Districts to intercept and turn the ball over. They've now gone inside towards Batty, who kicked 9 last week. Ball bobs this way, that way. Looks like Stacks on the mill. Looks like we're going to have a ball up. Louis Whitelock, the captain of Goodwood Saints, calling for holding the ball. Now throws himself back in at the contest. And we are going to get the ball up that we've been waiting for.
How nice is it to have some football right in front of you as opposed to that first game we did that was all on the outer side. I guess maybe that's because for today we are on the outer side. As it is, James Batty kicked 9 goals last week. Tries to surge forward. He's dispossessed of the football. Not much doing there. Will be another stoppage. So we are 4 minutes in, just the one behind to the home team. Although I think it's actually Port Districts who have the behind, and Goody Saints are yet to score.
Oh,
shot on goal though, if you don't mind. That is Jack Foster. There's your first goal. Tony Neal, nice bit of class out of the stoppage.
Yeah, very good. Just took it first take, looked up, knew what he had to do, and bang, straight through he went. And I tell you, just as the players are all running back, we may have found our Colt player for the day, number 28, Fraser Thorne, that beautiful haircut with the black around the base, blonde on top, and a bit of a spike through the top area of it. I'll tell you what, though, just watching too.
That's Tommy Carter, mate, sorry.
Tom Carter, sorry.
Tommy Carter from Goodwood Saints.
Yeah, I've got them around the wrong way.
Yep.
So Tom Carter it is. So interesting, as we see up here, he's a bit of a palmer of the ball. There he goes, there out the back. So that's interesting to see, Sean, and he's tipped to Lachlan Ryan. So good ruck work there.
Beautiful tap over the back to Lockie Ryan it was. I think he's playing his first game today. Was on the Crows top-up last year and at Henley. So an important addition for Goodwood Saints, and they've recruited just like Port Districts exceptionally well. And that ball is now inside Goodwood Saints 50. Carter versus, Thorne versus Weistra it is. Goodwood Saints now, maybe Dempsey's got the footies looking like they're having trouble trying to find a loose player. Carter will pick it up here, does. Handball's out. Finds number 5, he kicks it along with the pocket.
Tom Edwards.
Edwards it is, and a shot on goal, and that has gone through for Mason Ellis. And it's actually his 100th game today, so the boys will be pretty happy about that for Mason.
So Mason, he played every game last year, kicked the 8 goals. I think that is his first for the season. Just to give you a chance there to have a look at that Goodwood Saints jumper for today and talk you through that a little bit. The artist was Awandachi Scales, who's the sister of a past player, Raymond Scales. I see a large yellow circle in the middle. That represents the club, the centre of all our journeys. There's footprints leading to that through the cross. That's all of us walking together to the club. The smaller circles represent families and communities. In life, we are all from different backgrounds, but together, they're the Goodwood Saints. Tony.
So just a bit of a hold-up as we wait for the ball to come back off the top of the cricket pitch warm-up area, I reckon.
Maybe throw to Ben. How's it looking down there, Ben?
Yeah, not too bad. Again, still pretty gusty. The wind keeps swinging around, so it'll be interesting to see if that has much of an impact today.
Okay.
So back in the middle now, and we'll just see whether Tom Carter again gets that big left hand up or right hand. There he goes, just taps it a little bit backwards. Seems to be a set play, but Port District onto it. Good couple of handballs backwards to go forward. Nice setup, just misses the target by 2 or 3 metres, getting back on that Mason Ellis, and ball bobbles out of bounds down there, probably just around the 50-metre line, just probably 60 out, as the umpire's about to throw that in, Sean.
Yeah, that's Jacko, that's the tent where you get the marinated chicken burger from.
Right, I feel we've got a game on here. All right, keep worrying about food all the time. We'll wait till half time, Phil.
You owe me, you got to go get it at half time.
Right, Carter versus Thorne it was. Port District's really impressed with the way they're moving the ball out of the back half, Port District's. That's the first time they've actually blazed the ball. Louis Whitelock, that is the captain of Goodwood Saints, who's ended up with the footy. But every other time, and they've played deliberate there by the looks of it, have they? No. One thing with Port Districts is they've actually finessed the ball beautifully out of the back half. That's the first time they've actually just kicked it long and weren't able to get a good result. But Louis Whitelock looks like he's back here without an opponent, boys, so one extra player. So I'd suggest that that's also happening at the other end, and it is in Luke McInerney, who's the free player. So both teams running with an extra back, and unfortunately, if you're going to do that against Goodwood Saints, you want to man up on Louis Whitelock because he is a beautiful kick of the ball, and that is no exception, Tony.
Yeah, fantastic, wasn't it? Geez, shrugging off there. That was strong by Brad Bezic, and Phil.
So now, Goody Saints have it through the Centurion in Ellis. He's kicked the goal. He's trying to set up a second. Good hard attack on the footy by Nick Burgess. Hand pass to Goods, maybe not so great. And I think we're going to see a stoppage. Or the umpire does their best to let the players sort it out. So that's an inside 50. It's a short oval, as mentioned. Those 50-metre arcs pretty much meet the edge of the centre square.
So it's hustle and bustle in there, and trying to get it out. Port District's just a hack kick out. It actually comes backwards again, almost a throw or a low on the ground. A lot of bobbling around, and just seemed to be missing. It's pretty scrappy footy. We're 9 minutes in. We've only seen 1 goal each and 1 point scored, but just this first take isn't happening, and a lot of pressure there, Sean. Look at it bobbling around down there.
Wasn't quite able to take it. You're right, young Jack Foster, son of Ryan. Son of Richard Foster, brother of Ryan. We have a ball up now just outside the centre square, and the breeze does seem to be favouring Goodwood Saints, but Fraser Thorne has hit that beautifully to Foster. He can kick it on both right and left foot. The goal was on the left, but that was on the right, went long down the line. Unfortunately, once again, a Goodwood Saints intercept. They're going to have to do something about that. Maybe not this quarter, but next quarter with the breeze. And Anthony Dempsey, a long-serving player, has got that and switched the play out the far side.
So it's inside 50. Goody Saints trailing from her behind. Strong tackle by Tommy Corcoran. Showing off his red underwear. And he gets the free kick. I always thought if you're playing footy, you should wear underwear similar colour to the shorts, just to make things a bit simpler. But anyway.
I'm not going there.
Not going there? Not something you coached your team during the years, Jacko? Jack Gaffney has it.
Something I never thought about, to be honest with you. Speedos was my preferred choice of underwear on game day.
Of course, it's good. Now to Cooper Gaffney, one of that family connection Jacko mentions at the start of the show. Down by the boundary line here. Doesn't go over, though. Gavin Shepherd is here in a spot of bowler. Yes, he is holding the ball. And it will be Ben Holtzbauer to relieve the pressure for the Saints.
And Gavin Shepherd, might I say, attracted a flock in that tackle. So he's got a bit of a Shepherd on the actual play on there. Number 20 here is getting it twice. Ben Holtzbauer is obviously the go-to man. He's kicked that and he's run on again, Sean. So he's going to get this back in the middle here. That is great play. He's had 3 possessions. Quick handball. He's burned himself off now. He hasn't followed up. He could be back in it there just by trotting at the back. There he is again. That player's been involved in 4 plays there. Pops it out, or just not able to take the mark there. Away here. Goody Saints on the snap there, number 4, and Jacob Hughes just drifting away for a point.
Yes, just ducked the chutney there at the crucial time, did Ryan Chester. We'll look at that on the video and learn from that. But certainly the run from Ben Holzbauer out the back half was exceptional there. We're counting his stats. I reckon he would have had 4 or 5 touches in that passage of play. Anyway, the ball's in the hands of Port Districts as they're kicking the ball out. as mentioned earlier, going in quite a strong breeze, although that has travelled beautifully to the wing, and it's been marked almost on the true centre wing position. We look like they're going to go short here, and they have caressed the ball, and that is the goal kicker. No, Zach Hawkins, who's playing on the wing. He's got the footy now. Looking for options. Not a lot of space on this oval, is there? You've really got to be precise with the ball. Unfortunately, he wasn't on that occasion, but we will get a ball up here. I don't think the ball will be able to get out, although the new rule, or the interpretation of the rule, it certainly encourages the players to keep the ball alive, doesn't it, Phil?
Certainly does, and the umpires tend to let it go a bit, which I always like to see. Let the players sort it out rather than the umpires, if at all possible. At ground level, a clearance with the help there of Tom Lynch, wearing number 3 this afternoon. Of course, you might see some players not wearing their normal numbers because you have to order the jumpers 6 weeks to 2 months out. You don't exactly know who's playing on the day. But it is a Port District's free, and you're with Tony Neal.
So on that far wing, as that player kicks in towards the 50, up goes the pack, ball to ground, players bouncing around. Goodwood Saints, just another high kick. That's going to be a hack, and it'll end up being a 50-50 punch towards the boundary. Just while that throw-in's going, there's a lot of players in the middle of the ground. Back to our left, there's 6 players inside 50, and back to the right, there was only 4 before. There's back up to 6 now, but there's a lot of run as we cross over to Ben. How are we going, Ben?
Not too bad down here. Just a few little drops of rain coming. I've just checked the radar, and it looks pretty clear, so we might be lucky, but just a few little drops.
Well, that's fantastic, mate. You keep us updated. We're inside the trailer here, so just let us know if anything happens.
Well, the good news is we're nice and protected, but we'll keep you exposed to the elements to keep the info coming for us, Benny. Anyway, Goodwood Saints have the ball in the middle of the ground, looking for options. Go long now, long, high, wide and handsome, but no one there to take it. Port Districts once again through big Sammy McKay. Handballs the ball. Nice play out of the back half there. Ended up on the wing, just not quite able to hold the ball. But, boys, really impressed with the Port District style of game, I've got to tell you. I'm looking forward to see how that transpires when they've got the breeze at their backs, but doing a good job so far into the breeze.
So that's probably the important thing to remember. We're 14 minutes into the quarter. Goody Saints, well, according to our banjo writer Ben Tippett, it's worth a couple of goals going to the right of your screen.
Oh.
And that's a nice, good, solid mark to Fraser Thorne, who's... Oh, look,
Carter.
Carter.
Oh, sorry, wrong team. Yep, Tom Carter, who's wearing... I was just totally put off by that hairstyle. Then again, I need hair to have a hairstyle, so maybe I should just watch the game as they're trying to clear at Port Districts, but a fumbling hand pass gives the Saints a chance. That was by Zavi, who didn't hit the target. He was pounced upon by Tom Gerling, but he was tackled. 10 metres out from goal. Can Goody Saints break the deadlock? It's thumped forward by Districts, trying to clear it out of defence. Hand pass in hope. Nicely picked up. That player with the Brightwood boots, nicely tapped on. That was by Hamish Burns. We're in the middle. Tony Neal and Districts are going into attack.
And I can tell you what happens here. Port Districts are moving the ball quickly here, and the on-ballers can't keep up. So the players are trying to sprint down the ground to get up with this. Real big contrast, Sean. What's happening is that Port Districts like this are really setting up and using the ball 9 times out of 10. Well, this will probably be a 50-50 as I say that, but their forward entries have looked a lot better. Goodwood Saints have just been... They get past the middle of the ground as we see a shot on goal. That's a great goal too.
On the left foot again.
Yep, and that's number 14 for us, is it?
Mitch Gaffney.
Mitch Gaffney with a beautiful goal there. So just coming back to that... Goodwood Saints just can't seem to have a good forward entry past the middle of the ground. It just seems to be that 40-50 metre bomb into the forward line that gets congested very quickly.
Well, I think one thing we've seen, the difference between the two sides is the use of the ball by the Port District boys seems to be far better than Goodwood Saints. The skill level, they've hit with quite a lot of the short kicks and, as I said, very effective so far into the breeze. Look forward to the next quarter, but that was a nice passage, nice transition of play from what they call it now, D50 to F50. Centre bounce.
Between the 50s. Not quite the same as Between the Posts, which of course is your midweek show, where you'll see all of us. We're coming to you from the Lockleys Footy Club this week as Port Districts again go inside forward 50. Lynch has got a task at ground level. Got the hand pass out to Watt. There's a snap out of absolute nowhere, and they are converting everything they touch at the moment.
Jack Gaffney.
That is Jack Gaffney. with his first goal. So Mitch has got one, now Jack has got one.
Come on, Cooper, where's yours?
And Cooper's, thinking about he better get on the score sheet. Into the breeze, it's Districts 3-1-19.
And Peter Gaffney got one this morning, the father.
1-1-7.
And there's a little bit going on in the back play, back in that back 50. The Port Districts, I spoke about this earlier, about the physicality, and there's just a little bit of pushing around, letting Lou Whitelock know there. So this is what we're going to see in this game, that forcing the ball forward, physical attack on the ball. Up they go. Nice hit forward by Carter. He switched on. He roared in for another tap earlier on. So this is where Goodwood Saints need to get clean hands, and they do, and a good entry would be fantastic. That's a nice kick off the boot there, and a quick answer by Tom Anderson. That was a very good goal, quickly out of the middle there, Sean.
Yes, Tommy Anderson, much experienced player, firefighter now, so you'd expect nothing less to be able to drill it straight through the middle, and he did. Well done to Tommy off the wing, but a nice passage of play. I concur with you there, Tony. We're back into the centre, and the same two blokes to do battle again. Neither side yet to go to a second ruckman, so we've got big Fraser Thorne up against Tommy Carter. Fraser Thorne, ex-Port Magpies, Tommy Carter, ex-South East. Both big lumps of meat, if that's the way you want to look at it. Phil?
Well, reaching for the skies helps if you start with a bit of height. They'll go right at it. Another big thump to Carter. But Districts will get the clearance, bouncing towards their forward 50. Trying to juggle it was Jack Cooper. He was looking to get on that score sheet. Passes out to Zachy Hawkins. The lead looking for James Batty. Couldn't find him. They're ferocious in attack. Districts, another strong tackle on this occasion on Lynch.
Well, the Districts crowd wanted holding the ball there, didn't they?
They did indeed. We're sort of in the pocket with quite a few in black and white this afternoon. The tap down towards Mitch Gaffney. It spills over. Will be a stoppage almost in front of our broadcast van. Of course, we're brought to you by Sports Interactive and Filming Footy. And the interchanges and team selections brought to you by Interchanger. And you're with Tony Neal.
So Nathan Wright goes up for Port Districts here. He's given away about 10 kilometres over the back. And that is Tom Corcoran with the goal. Now, one of the things we'll talk about as this game goes on, I'm always big on getting someone in behind the ball-ins, the throw-ins, and that's the reason why. He was outdone by about 10 kilos on the throw-in. The ball went to the back of the pack, picked it up, easy goal, as you like. Pretty poor defence, to be honest, by Goodwood Saints to let that player through, if I was honest there. So we're now starting to see that scoreboard rolling, Sean, 19 minutes in, and now we've seen 6 goals. So it's just starting to get a little bit away for Port District here. 2 goals up.
Well, Tommy Corcoran, the centreman, who's in the exact position he should be, sweeping at the back of the stoppage. Unfortunately, the Goodwood Saints centreman, I'm not sure who that is at the moment, did not have him covered. Ball back in the middle, the same two. No, we've had a change in the ruck. Looks like Weistra's gone in the ruck for Port Districts. Allows Goodwood Saints to clear the ball through Levi Elms. Port Districts have all the answers at half-back at the moment, though. They are able to clear the ball, and it's a nice catch taken by Jack Gaffney. And it's Gaffney to Gaffney to Gaffney show here. But that's a beautiful kick, hit-up lead from Miller Carter. Young kid playing his second game, and he's good off the foot and able to get a free kick. James Batty going for goal number 1, but have all the answers so far, and their kicking skills of the Port District sides are amazing, boys.
They're exceptional at the moment, finding a target, and that always puts pressure. And their stoppage work, I think their 4 goals, at least 2, possibly 3 of those that were from a stoppage or a stalemate-ish type situation. But right now, all eyes are on Batty. You want to call this one through, Jacko?
Okay, James Batty, about 25 metres on a pretty simple angle, will be bread and butter for a man of his talent, and it was, and it is, and he scores his first, so he's got 8 to get to catch up the last week and 9 to beat last week's effort. And we are at the 20-odd minute mark, boys. Just 20 minutes and 50 seconds. And look, there's a lot to like about Port Districts at the moment. I reckon if they're able to crack one more before quarter time, it's almost going to be very difficult for Goodwood Saints to come back. That's how the game feels at the moment from where we're sitting. Look like Port Districts, even though the inside 50s probably aren't that different, it certainly looks like they have all the answers.
And Goodie Saints, they've brought a bit more grunt into the middle there, and this is what we're seeing here. So Favretto it was that just got that kick forward. Now he's just come into the middle there. They've got 3 decent sides with himself, Lachlan Ryan, of course the ruckman Tom Carter, and there was the 4th one. They're all a good size in that last centre bounce. the ruckman's actually getting first hand of the ball. See, he's resting behind now. He's getting first hand of the ball, but they can't capitalise on it. Port District are using the ball a lot cleaner. Goodwood Saints, they look a little bit nervous, or whether it's the physicality or a little bit under pressure. They can't seem to handle it right. And I'll tell you what, the wind hasn't made much of a difference to Port District at all. Their skills are fantastic, Sean, as you've alluded to.
Yeah, it looks like in the forward line they're getting Big Angus Clark to take the ruck work, who has played a lot of football in the ruck and only back at the club this year because of the COVID virus. Was working, or going to be working in Victoria, and it fell through, and lucky for Goodwood Saints, he's back. He's the most accomplished player. But once again, Port Districts have all the answers when the ball goes back in. So at this stage, Tony, as an ex-coach, what you've got to start thinking about is the spare is not working for Goodwood Saints, and it is working for Port District. So I'd be starting to think, well, when you've got the breeze, push someone forward, make Luke McInerney accountable, because at the moment he's able to play his own game. They're able to set the play up out of the back 50, and there's been no one move forward to make him accountable. So once again, that's a coaching decision that the staff, Luke Donaldson, will have to make at some stage if the trend continues.
Throw in front of the tennis club rooms. Multi-sports complex here. Football, cricket, hockey and tennis, possibly netball as well. As we've got Jack Gaffney at ground level. I think he might have been taken high in there somewhere. Umpire concurs. So a chance for Districts to set up another attack. 23 minutes gone. They've kicked 4 of the last 5 goals. The more it's gone on, the better they've looked. And they're going to do the short position kicking duel. 60 metres out, too far to score.
So Tom Carter's actually the free man back here now. Wait, there he is, waiting for this kick to come in. There's the big ruckman just at the back, but the player taken in front of him there, haven't called him much, is Tom Lynch. So very reliable back pocket. So looks like he's going to go down the wing. There is one player on the middle, but he's just lined up for a bomb. And once again, this is that kicking that I was talking about. They're not actually hitting targets, they're just bombing to a pack. Maybe it's a set play to get it out of bounds. And what Sean was alluding to before, I concur 100%. Make the opposition accountable. If they want to play the ball through the middle of the ground, we'll put our players in the middle of the ground as well, or around the ground, and play them back at it, because it's a game of combat.
Yep.
So now we see Goodwood Saints again so let's see, Sean, if they can set it up from this kick in, or is it just another bomb?
Yeah, well, so you're spot on, Tony. See what's happening here. The Goodwood Saints got it the free and kicking the ball long, and the intercept player we just spoke about before, Luke McInerney's been able to mark the ball without any real pressure. So you've got to make a decision. If you're going to roll one short in the front half, you can't be bombing the ball in. You've got to work the ball like Port Districts have done. They understand they're one short, but they're not kicking the ball long. They're actually trying to hit up the smaller lot just like that. There's two complete contrasts in styles. And once again, you need to make the decision. If you're going to go long because of the wind, well, then push someone up so you've got some genuine competition. Ball is now back in Port District's. Batty hands it off. We've got Jack Cooper, and he's been able to take a terrific mark at 20 metres out. Phil.
Indeed. Looking to be goal scorer number 6 for Port District. All single goal scorers thus far. They've spreaded the load beautifully. High percentage shot, straight in front, 25 metres out. Goal umpire barely has to move. So Jack Cooper has his first. Districts have kicked 5 of the last 6 into the breeze, which is, we think, worth a couple. And it is Port District 6-1-37, Goody Saints 2-1-13. A 24-point margin. You're with John Jackson, Phil Herden and Tony Neal.
Just quickly on Jack Cooper, he was the one I was alluding to in the pre-game talk, that he's been overseas for 3 years, so hasn't played much footy at all. Ex-Port Magpies, but hasn't played at all pretty much over the last 3 years. So a welcome acquisition, Tony, to the Port Districts, and that was a nice mark.
And the rest has done him well. Interesting there, Goodwood Saints gave up the middle. They came inside to Jack Gaffney when they manufactured that last goal. So just keep an eye on that middle of the ground stuff. Port Districts want to put the ball there, and they're not afraid to use it, and Goodwood Saints pretty much let them use it, which is a bit disappointing on their behalf. So you see the Goodwood Saints ruckman pushing it backwards. Umpires been goaded into that by all the players holding the ball. Here's this forward line that you were talking about before, Sean, that leading kick. That looks a lot better. Good strong mark on the lead. We'll just see who this player is as he turns around. He's going to have a shot. let's see, he'd be probably right on the 50 as he shoots, and that is Jacob Hughes.
Yeah, so guys, without harping on it too long, we'll probably talk about it at quarter time. So the difference there was they went long, but they went long after a centre bounce. So it didn't allow Port Districts to set up in the back. And that's fine, but it's when you're in transition from your back half where you just can't be kicking the ball long if you're short in the front half. Has a shot for goal and unfortunately pulls that to the right.
We've got a quarter-time score from Park 9, Prince Alfred 5-3-33, Ross Trevor 3-1-19, so Prince's by 14 points. Our game started late, and one benefit of that is we should get all the other scores in by the time we're done. On the chat, thanks to Collingwood 041 for that, and Gippsland Footy watching, because unfortunately in the Gippsland, and as per the rest of Victoria, not much local footy to watch, so I hope you enjoy this one. The kick from the Districts, trying to clear it outside 50, at their defensive 50, sorry. They do so now. Tommy Corcoran, he's been one of their better players this quarter, trying to move it with precision, looking for the two-gamer in Miller Carter. But Saints on the rebound. Here they come. They're in the T-saucer. Kicks it inside forward 50. That is the siren. That is quarter time. A good one if you're a Districts fan. They're 6-1-37. Goody Saints are 2 behind.
2 goals, 2.
2 goals, 2. Sorry, they've just updated that score. So 23 points. Ben Tippett's going to head out to the huddles and give us all the news from the two coaches. Very quickly, the goal scorers before we take our break. For District, 6 individuals. James Batty, Tom Corcoran, Jack Gaffney, Mitch Gaffney, Jack Cooper, and opened with Jack Foster. For Goody Saints, their 2 goals to the Centurion, Mason Ellis, and Tom Anderson. We will take a break. Thanks to Sports Interactive and Filming Footy. This is Matchday Live. One of our great supporters here in the Adelaide Footy League this year is Business Plaza. They do great work helping clubs raise much needed funds. One of those is the Goody Saints. Let's hear from Craig Scott.
The Goody Saints are going to partner with Business Plaza because of their track record, and also they're a major sponsor of the Adelaide Footy League, and they've brought in big companies like Vodafone and Catch Group. We feel we can better engage with our members and our players through the app, and I encourage you to get on board and become a member of Business Plaza.
Where did you get that bag?
Catch.com.au. Screaming good deals.
Catch!
With an interest rate this low, your home loan will want to fix itself. Get a better fixed rate home loan from Police Credit Union. Call, visit a branch or apply online.
At Carlton Football Club, we use Interchange Pro software to manage our rotations on game day with our men's team, women's team and VFL affiliate Northern Blues. The software is simple and user-friendly and gives us a great idea of how to manage our players' rotations during a match. Interchange Pro provides concise information about players' time on ground and time on the bench. We can also see how long players have been on the ground and configure accurate alerts for individual players to manage their rotations and game time. Using the software, we can keep track of how many minutes our players have played on the ground and spent on the bench for the whole entire season, creating a database. We find Interchange Pro a great solution to managing our players' rotations on game day, and it'll be a great tool at community level too.
Hey Jeff, where do you get your shoes?
Catch! 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 Catch.com.au. Screaming good deals.
Catch!
About to get underway. We'll get the thoughts from the huddles from Ben Tippett shortly, but you're with Tony Neal.
And the umpire holds the ball aloft, and Goodwood Saints are coming to the left of screen here. Up it goes. Nice tap. Both tapped it the same way or taken high, but the umpires let it go. Away they go again here, Port District. So ball bobbles around. Nice kick on the left there, and pack flies up. Well crumb too, yeah, just straight off the top. It's gone back to where it came. One handball, two handballs. They're going to end up on the half-back flank here in a minute. They've given Goodwood a chance. That's as good as a kick. And we'll see a free kick out there to Goodwood Saints. Very quickly, it's getting dark down to the left of us because all the Port District people are in their black jackets out there. I just hope it's not dark for Goody Saints down this end.
Yes, well, ball up. Just outside the Goodwood Saints. Good pressure there from the Saints. Forced Port Districts to retreat about 50 metres down that far wing, and we now have a boundary throw in. It'll be interesting to see, boys, whether there's any change in instruction to either side, whether Port Districts go a little bit longer. Now they have the breeze, and that certainly is long from Gaffney. It's unfortunately gone out on the fall. I just go, Gaffney, you're a fair chance. And Tommy Lynch has the ball back from West Adelaide, son of Robbie Lynch, who played 200 games for Woodville West Torrens, and Woodville more importantly. Tommy long down the line, which he's done every opportunity. And that's a good mark taken by Jacob Hughes, who spent pre-season at West Adelaide and at the age of 27, 28, boys. It was terrific to see him have a go, and probably only the COVID thing that stopped him. That's a nice kick, though, in towards Tommy Anderson. He'll mark this, Tommy, and he does. Great catch from the firefighter. 10 metres.
Lining up, Jacko Miko to Ben Tippett. What was said at the huddles, mate?
Yeah, Port District's pretty happy. The main message was to keep backing their skill. They were really happy with the work rate into the breeze to come away with a lead like that. Over at Goodwood, they were just looking for more energy, particularly from the midfield. They really thought that Port District outworked them that quarter. They want to give their forwards an opportunity and really make sure that they're aware of the quick break from the Port District's backline.
Well, I'm a bit worried, mate. I just saw Richard Foster walk past with 2 red wines and 2 cans of beer. Are the Port District crowd celebrating a little bit too early, Tony? That is the question I have for you. It's only 2 minutes into the second quarter. Goodwood Saints get the first one through. Tommy Anderson, that's his second. He started well.
And just on that, it was almost a bit of Pagan's paddock there. He had a really big open area to run into. He's a good runner, and he's from the wing. So he's kicked 2 from a wing.
Yep.
Will be interesting to keep an eye on his opponent, Brad Bezic, and just see whether he goes the other way as well.
We're back in the middle. The ruck tap will give that one to Tommy Carter. Still pretty much in the middle. Nice electronic scoreboard here. Just one of many modern additions they're making to the Goodwood Oval. Because of the demolition of the grandstand, the new clubrooms, everyone's sort of on the tents on the eastern side today.
Great tackle,
and,
Sean Davidson.
Normally a little bit of a problem because you're into the setting sun, but it's a fairly cloudy day. I reckon they're going to be right. So Goodwood have responded. The into the wind end is the scoring end currently. 8 of the 10 goals, I think, have been kicked, or 7 of the 10 goals. Here's a very key player for mine in Houtsbow. He's a bit of a spark for mine. But, beautifully done by Cooper Gaffney. I reckon that's his second great steal of the day. Puts it out now into a little bit of space for Tommy Corcoran to wind up. Kick it inside 50. But the Saints are there in numbers, and they're marching it out of defensive 50.
So our winger there, Tom Anderson's linked up there once or twice. He's still there. He's actually the winger on this side, but he's over there almost another on-baller as the ball goes very wide out there, reaching up high over the top. Geez, it bobbled around a long time. Was in the hands a long time, but a little bit going on again here. So, match them physically, beat them mentally. We'll see what happens. So, ball's about 70 metres out. I like that one, Sean. So let's just see if there's anyone behind the ruckman here as the ball comes in. Just a tap forward there. It's probably one of the first one he's won was Fraser Thorne. He's on the ground. This is where Goodwood need to mop up and keep clean hands and good skills. So it's just that bomb forward now and a good grab there. They're doing what they like, pretty much Port District, and elite skills, Sean.
Yep. McInerney out of the back half. The loose player still in that role. He's gone long. Unfortunately, Goodwood Saints have been able to turn the footy over and change the direction. It's now out with Nick Favretto starting to come into the game late in the first quarter. He's a beautiful kick. He's found Ollie Johnson. It's unfortunately just gone out of bounds for Ollie. We haven't seen a lot of young Ollie in his first game for Goodwood Saints so far. Anyway, that's a long bomb from Port District's gone a bit wide though, and tapped out of bounds by the Goodwood Saints defence, Phil.
So down by the cricket nets and a few of the temporary facilities that we have here at Goodwood Oval. We'll show you a little bit later in the broadcast a photo of what it's going to look like when it's all done, and it is magnificent. So just around from the Port District's behind post, they have the lead but have not scored thus far in this quarter. In the first 5 minutes, we've only seen the 1 goal to the Saints, and we've got ourselves another stoppage. Round 3. OTR Division 1, Adelaide Footy League. Of course, it's a 9-round season. Every match sort of means double this season. Under pressure was Miller Carter. Couldn't get his booty. Good now, bouncing but missed. Well, give him kudos for actually finding some space. It was pretty congested. Behind to Districts, there's 6-2. It's an 18-point lead over Goody Saints. They're 3-2.
And he had about 3 goes at that. Now, a different guy kicking in down the other end now for Goodwood Saints. So...
Louis Whitelock at his mate, the captain.
Lou Whitelock, left footer. So he's come straight down the ground. He's left it in the air a long time, but that's a good kick, and it's almost like play stopped then. So nice kick. So can we see a bit of possession? Oh, he's popped that down, picked it back up. This will be the third. Can we see a coast to coast for the day? Oh, doing a full bore somersault there was Benjamin Gould. Lucky not to hurt himself, but not bad from the fullback kick in, Sean. 1-2, bang, and they're into their inside 50s.
Yeah, Mason Ellis looked like he could have broken his neck there in his 100th game for Goodwood Saints, the way he went at that ball. Thrown in, goes over the back, that one Tony's talking about, and once again, Matty Weestraw was able to effect a good clearance. Nice tackle, good pressure here, and he's paid hold the ball, which is... Sean Davidson not happy about, reckons he handballed the ball. Did he, boys? Not sure. Your call, Phil.
Not from the angle I had, but I only see half of it. So we've got it across to Ellis, as mentioned. He looks okay after his little tumble there.
Yep.
Not sure you really want a hospital visit on your 100th game. But his kick in, again, just without much direction, and another intercept mark to Districts. This one through Beswick. He tries to get out to Cochrane. He's under pressure. Spills out. It's going to be Goody Saints through, I think that's Levi Elms on the rebound. Bit of aerial ping-pong, a tackle on Jack Gaffney. Umpire says holding the ball. They're hot on it this year. I don't mind that, Tony, as long as they're consistent.
That was a good aggressive tackle. So Goodwood Saints have come in with a little bit more intensity there, and that was Mason Ellis again. He's been prolific the last few minutes.
He has.
Just hope this kick in is a little bit better. That last one was just a half kick in. He's probably out. He's going to kick this from outside 50, so it's going to probably land in the square. If it gets anywhere close to it. He's ambitious. He's got hold of it, but just dropping short. The only one playing for it there was
Luke McInerney,
and just takes it. Umpire just bringing that player back 25 metres. Well, that's not really smart football because they're kicking with the Winport District, so 25 is probably worth a little bit more in this game. There's how you use the ball. No, it isn't. So good turnover. I stand corrected, Sean, as we're inside 50. Goody Saints put the Jets on. He's run forward and celebrated big. That's where you need to kick him from, about 30 out. And that's a very accurate kick there by...
Ollie Johnson.
Ollie Johnson, was it?
Yep, the man we mentioned had been a bit quiet in the first quarter. That's a good goal. Hardly think we've seen a goal missed at this end, into the breeze. It's been exceptional kicking from both sides into the breeze. And Goodwood Saints have started the quarter well with 2 goals. So, maybe it's not always about the breeze, boys, is it? That you've actually got to be able to do the work.
8 goals won to the left of screen thus far this afternoon.
Thank you, Phil Herden.
And 12 points the difference. And the non-scoring end, in theory, is the scoring end in practice. Jacko.
Yes, Fraser Thorne. It's one of my pet hates. I'll talk about that at half-time, the tap over the back. Both sides are doing it a bit, and it's really a risky play, and that's what happened. Goodwood Saints were able to clear the ball. What a good tackle by Dougie Gregg. Gets the turnover back. We've got Cooper Gaffney now. He lays it off to Zach Hawkins. Long, hoping down the line. Sean Davidson rolling onto it. Got it. Will he have a shot? Lines at top of the square. Oh! He's nearly taken it. Would have been a beautiful catch. Off the ground. He's butted up and kicked a point, and that was Jack Cooper, I think, was it?
I think you're correct.
Louis Whitelock with the left. Beautiful kick.
And has found his target there in Jacob Hughes. So, good kick out. Can the Saints maintain possession? No, they can't. Cooper Gaffney, who's, I think he's intercepted about 5 or 6 thus far this afternoon, and we are only 10 minutes into the second quarter. Game started a little late due to our Indigenous ceremony. Not sure how good or otherwise the lights are here, but we might be in a bit of darkness by the time we're finished. Jacob Hughes is intercepted for Goodwood. And it looks like they're quite happy, Tony, just to slow it down.
And look, they're out that side of the ground, which is going to play across, as we see there, towards the boundary line, holding the ball there. So players now milling around. There's a little bit on, and it's going to come back to Port Districts. Goodwood Saints haven't been game to come out this side of the ground and bring it back in and around to try and get a better shot on goal. So Port Districts with it at the moment on that far wing. Only 2 goals up at the moment, but playing the superior football as big pack forms. Can we crumb it? No, back it comes. He's been lively, Holtzbauer, but just pops it out of bounds there. So we're just going to cross to Ben. How's it looking for you there, Ben?
Yeah, you're right, boys. It is starting to get a little bit dark down here, but I just checked in with the benches. Everyone fit and well. Both teams fully healthy at the moment, so hopefully that's good. Good fresh legs for late in the game.
Doing a good job, Ben. 3 pies, 2 pasties and 4 cokes in. Ball in the middle of the ground. Goes long by Benny Gould, the wingman. Young wingman. That's a nice layoff from... this will end up with Foster, I think, which kicks his second. But a nice layoff from James Batty. Allowed him to run into an open goal. And a good passage of play there, Phil.
Yeah, in the end it was all too easy. He got the ball and there was not a saint within cooee. Always good when you can walk him in. So... bit of a settler, hard to believe when you're going with the scoring end and you start at the quarter with a 4-goal lead. But Saints have got the last 2. That settles it down a little bit. Back, Tony, to a 19-point margin, which is a nice buffer to have.
It is, and interesting, these 2 ruckmen, particularly Carter. I don't reckon he's had a rest, has he? He sometimes goes a kick behind the play, but in he comes again. Palms it down with that big left hand. A good leap on him too. Gives it to Goodwood Saints advantage. Ball bobbled around by Port Districts. Oh, he took him on there, that player, and he's been caught. And Hughes it was, just didn't have the time he thought he had. Now there's players milling around. Davidson's looking to run past for a handball. Been turned around, I think. No, the umpire's just held play up there. So, bit of stoppage. There's some movement out of the back line here for them. Left foot goes down that far side. Big pack forms, hands up, down it comes. They've been good off these packs as well, Sean, but quick kick back by Goody Saints. Out the far side, ball bobbling around, big tackle. They haven't really had their own way, Goody Saints, when the ball does come in. They haven't had too many free breaks and clearances.
No, so what seems to be happening, boys, is Port Districts kept holding the ball down the same line. They're not able to get any width or any space with the ball. I think a few times in the back half they needed to just... lift their eyes a little bit and come out the far side like we should get here. We have much better transition of play here. Yep. He kicks it out in front of Corcoran. Not sure he's got the legs to get there, Tommy. Not the quickest bloke going round. He won't like me saying that, but he's a chance to roll in a goal. He's laid it off to Batty, who marks well for a little fella. Unfortunately, wasn't able to catch that one. Made a liar out of me. Ball up inside 20 for Port Districts. They want a goal here, boys, just to assert their ascendancy. Ball's thrown up, same 2 ruckmen, neither able to get their hand on it. Looks like we'll have another restart, Phil.
Yeah, not the prettiest 15 seconds, as you can see the crowd milled around over the old scoreboard there before they've gone electronic. Haven't quite got around to dismantling it yet. Tap down straight to the Saints. Going through hard was Shepherd. Just no space to get rid of the football. This is pretty ugly, and usually I tend to see the umpires do this for a little while and eventually you see a free come out of nowhere just to clear it.
Yep.
Eventually, especially when they used to have to bounce it all the time. They used to get pretty tired of doing that.
So very good tap there by Carter, but big pack around there as the ball's down. Now they come out with the Goodwood Saints, a forward tumbling punt, man in front, big strong body there, gets it going Port District's way, and Sean Davidson just runs into a brick wall. And Goodwood Saints here are going to get the free kick, and is he going to get up? Yes, he is. So they've played on. Now they've come outside this time, Sean. They've come down this far side. The wind's actually taken. That's almost a cricket catch. Down on the hands and knees, 2-3 handball. They're very good at this. Now you've got all the time in the world, 2 or 3 decisions to make, and picks out a player in the middle of the ground.
Yep, Matty Weister it is, long time. And he comes back the far side for Sammy McKay, young fella out of St Michael's. Handballs forward and puts Ryan Chester under a bit of pressure. He's able to get the ball away. Good contest there Ball hits the ground and the big ruckman, Jack Carter, handballs the ball somewhat hoping. Able to get away with it now, Goodwood Saints, and we look for a kick long down the line.
They do, right in front of our broadcast booth this afternoon. Sports Interactive and filming footy, and everyone can see that was well and truly out of bounds on the full.
Jacob Hughes.
15 gone. It is a 19-point game in favour of the visitors, who are 1 and 2. Goody Saints have started with 2 straight losses. Would not want to start with 3. Would almost be season gone. As it's with Fraser Goods, he's gone across the other side. Hulls Baker has gone with the kick and a good strong mark taken by Gerling under pressure. Hand pass to Lynch. Lynch on the chest of Cale Matthews. Too far out to score. He looks for options. Will he bomb it in? Will he go for a target? He's going to go for the target. They collide with each other. Gives a chance for Districts to clear up. They've got the hand pass in space. Opportunity gone for the Saints. Tony.
Yeah, a couple of times there you see Port Districts here. They find space very well. So Goodwood Saints now, good chase and tackle there. Pushed in the back. Umpire's called play on. So bobbles around again. It's just this kick in here that troubles us, and we can see why. So Ryan Chester it is. Nice kick, and this is what they're going to do. Out the other side, just off one step.
That's the kick.
I talked about the elite skills. Oh, good defence there. He's been good for them, Houtsbauer. Now Goodwood Saints need to use the ball and just unfortunately turns it over again. And Jack Foster, he's having a good game as well. Couple of goals. He's looking inside. He's looking down the line. He's got plenty of options. That's a high, long kick. Into the pack it comes. Oh, big collision there. Goodwood Saints push their own players out of the way. It comes back forward, tumbling punt. Under it again is Foster. Bit of a bounce. Like a basketball then, Sean, as they come inside 50. Goody Saints 2-on-1, so they're going to clear quite easily here. Port Districts, just elite skills. One hand, if you don't mind. Oh, I'll tell you what, you're in a bit of trouble here, mate. You haven't got that much time. He's going to check side. No, he's not. Drop punt. Indecision. Second biggest killer on the roads, and that's what'll happen.
Right, have a breather, Tony. It's probably the longest solo run I've ever experienced. As a man who does not know when to stop. That went for 15 minutes, but well done. Have a breath, have a drink, son, as we all regather, regroup with the ball up. Boundary thrown out on the far side. Young kid really impressed me the last 5 minutes. Ryan Chester, a couple of efforts early, one in the first quarter and one early in the second quarter. I was a little bit worried about not keeping his body in line, but geez, his last 5 minutes have been exceptional. Same 2 blokes in the ruck. This time Carter hits it forward, does mix it up a little bit. Not able to get on the end of it though, and we will have a ball up. And this has been where Port Districts have been really good, being able to clear the ball out of the back lines. And at this stage, no change in the tactics from either coach by the looks of it. We're still running one spare both ends. Carter gets it, gets his own ball, handballs the ball forward under pressure. And Phil.
Yeah, Zachy Hawkins didn't really make an attempt to get rid of it. He just said, I'll take the tackle, and you can't do that anymore. Well done by Mason Ellis to get the free. That's a long way back for Goody Saints. They're going to be upended. Holding the ball seems to be the free of the day, but they're just not getting rid of it quick enough at the moment. It's going to be with Mitch Gaffney in the square. Heads towards the hockey club. Umpire's found another free. That's fine. And Goody Saints not happy. It better be a Districts free. You can see the score there. Districts by 19. Inside forward 50 we go into the goal square off hands. Didn't quite get the boot on it, James Batty. It's a behind. Port Districts are 7-4. That's 46. Goody Saints are 4-2. That's 26. I reckon that's a 20-point margin.
Tony, have you recovered?
Mate, that's what happens when you drink beetroot juice. The oxygen carrying capabilities are going very well. It's only 50% of the way there. So Goodwood Saints there. We've called him a fair bit now, Hotsbauer kicking out, and he's found a target there. This kick here from Goody Saints, they're pretty much covered in the middle of the ground, so goes out wide. Nice grab with a player coming down, and that's transgression there that's going to be pulled back 25 metres, and we might need someone to get... find out for us who number 4 is.
That's Lockie Gregg. He doesn't appear on the team sheet. I think he came in late at the side. Late in. Brother of Doug, standing the mark. Got the lovely tattoo on the right calf.
So ball comes in, put the Dukes up, and that's a good grab by Samuel McKay. Now they've been good at this, Sean. They come out this opposite side, and that's a long penetrating kick down the wing. He's been lively, Corcoran.
Oh, good player. Good in the air too, and made a good contest there up against Joshy Slate. Gets it short. Unable to keep the ball low though, Tommy. Need to keep that one flatter. All right, they recover okay though, and this goes through Gaffney, the Jack variety. He finds Milikata, who once again the ability to keep the ball, punch the ball low, has been a real feature of Port District's game, and unfortunately he punched it low and just didn't quite hit the target.
Got a half-time score from Park 9, where the two undefeated sides, Prince Alfred a 6-5-41, Ross Trevor a 4-6-26. Doing the maths in my head again, 15 points in favour of Princes. That is actually my predicted grand final matchup this year, Princes versus Rocks. As we do have the throw in, it's at top of the square, and there are a lot of players around this football. And again, that a player make an effort to get rid of it. Of course, it's 20 out from goal. Umpire might not be quite so tight, Tony, with their interpretation.
And all the players are in one half of the ground, and that's the Port District's end of the ground. So we're seeing a little bit of a press put on by Port Districts, or not a little bit, a major press put on by them. So
stop the press.
Up and down. That's it. So out it comes. A lot of numbers around the ball here. Goodwood Saints. Now, will we see them capitalise on this? Good contest out there, taken high over the shoulder, not given there was Ellis. He's been lively. Ball comes back in, big pack forms, put the Dukes up, down it comes. Not a big second effort by one of the players there, but they're trying to force this out, Goodwood Saints. Good battling contest here, and just goes out of bounds on that far side. They've put in a little bit more this quarter, Sean, I feel, and good contesting down through there. Close.
Yeah, look, I'd actually put it down to more Port Districts dropping off a little bit.
There's the back of the
pack. From the first quarter to particularly the first half of this quarter. I thought they changed their the way they moved the ball. They weren't as fluent or as quick in transferring the ball out the fat side. But that seems to have improved in the last 5 or 6 minutes, and they're able to get a couple of goals. Holzbauer has it now. Long, which Goodwood Saints tend to do a fair bit of. Searching for Cale Matthews, nothing doing. Ball goes long forward now. It'll be that man McInerney again. Gee, sometimes football can be cruel. Shocking bounce, but this is a good passage of play. Cooper Gaffney, left footer, looking to work onto his left. He's good on his right as well, though. Goes left, looking for his brother, I think. No, it's
Ben Gould.
Ben Gould, his cousin. Funny, brother to cousin to brother, and it's ended up with Milikata.
And Gould actually started that at the back there, delivered it, and ran on.
So a Gould passage of play.
Very good.
Milikata was named in the best players, 3 goals on debut. Looking to get his first this afternoon. I reckon this is a key moment as we head into the latter stages of the second quarter. He'll come in now from inside 50. Just
beautiful
saluted
run,
off the boot, and the goal umpire only moved to look up at it sailing over his head. Miller has his first, and Port Districts re-established their quarter-time lead. I mentioned at half-time, thanks to Business Plaza, we'll get thoughts from Ben Tippett. We'll get scores around the OTR Division 1. We'll talk about the Dartfish stats. Sean and Tony will talk about how each team is progressing or what they will do if they're not progressing. Tony.
So, ball just coming back into the middle here. Bit of pressure release, if you like, for Port District. They had it down around that 50 for a fair while. Came out, went back in, came out, went back in. Good passage of play resulting in that goal. And as Sean alluded to, high lift there too by the Goodwood Saints ruckman. Now he's got it in his hands. Just an awkward type of kick forward, so it makes the players work.
This side,
Port
this
District,
side.
no, just around. He's a left footer, so he'll go to his favourite side. But as you've probably alluded to there, Sean, it was going to go to a pack all the time, wasn't it? So out of bounds. Can they capitalise here? Is there anyone behind the ruckman? Please.
It doesn't look like there is, although Cooper Gaffney is in range. It looks like a set ploy not to play someone there, but it's very strange structurally. Carter hits the ball forward. Ball bobs out. Looks like Dougie Gregg under a bit of pressure, done for holding the ball. Tough decision, and he's kicked it long, but it looks like it'll be, and it's not. It's Jacob Hughes. Wears a pretty strong tackle from Sean Davidson. Umpires adjudicated head high, and he, if he gets up, if they don't call for the meat wagon, he'll have a shot on goal from about 35 metres, 45-degree angle. Jacob Hughes, take a bow, son.
Just very quickly before you call the shot, Jacko.
Oh.
Half time, of course, you'll be talking about our Dartfish player of the game, who, of course, will win the famous collector's item Dartfish beanie and be interviewed post-game.
Having a dart. Jacob Hughes it is. Will that knock around the head worry him? We haven't seen too many goals missed from this angle so far today, and that one is the exception. Still struggling, I think, from that whack around the ears. So the ball now with big Sammy McKay, and he's kicked it beautifully to Matty Wiestra.
Kicked right at us. You can't miss Matty Wiestra with those fluorescent boots. He understands it's a TV game. You've got to stand out.
Yep.
So you get called every time. We cannot miss that. Gets it across to Sam McKay. He's going to clear out of defence for Districts.
Oh.
Can someone get a final goal to take some momentum into halftime? It's sort of been a quarter where each side has had their moments, but
this side,
no one's dominated. Sean Davidson, does he follow Jacko's example? There's a lead, there's a mark! Inside 50, it's to Shepherd. Just might be outside his range, although if there is a breeze, in theory he's going with it. And gee, look at the run-up. Look how far back he's going. He's at centre wing to kick at 50. I know it's a small oval. He's almost got a chance to go on the interchange bench and get an instruction. If he did, that would be thanks to Interchanger. Comes in from 55. It's a high kick. It's going to be pretty close. It got the distance, but not the actually. It's a behind. It is Districts by 25 points.
And whilst he did miss that, I'll tell you what I liked structurally. He's a right footer. His first step was on his left foot. And there's some AFL players, might I say, that might learn from that, because start off on your opposite foot, 9 times out of 10 you'll go all right. Pretty good point as the siren goes here at Goodwood Oval. So good contest. 26 minutes that quarter went for, and 4 goals up Port Districts, and they're playing a mighty game. We thought they'd bring a bit of heat to the battle, and they certainly have. But I tell you what else, they've got elite skills. 9 times out of 10, very happy with it.
Well, believe it or not, Port Districts won the quarter. They kicked 2 goals, 4. Goodwood Saints kicked 2 goals, 1. It is a 25-point margin. Very quickly before we take a break, the goal scorers for Port Districts: 2 to Jack Foster, singles to James Batty, Tom Corcoran, Mitch Gaffney, Jack Gaffney, Jack Cooper and Miller Carter. For Goody Saints, 2 to Tom Anderson, singles to Mason Ellis in his 100th game, and Ollie Johnson bobbed up for a goal in that second quarter. It's Districts by 25. The Business Plaza halftime show is coming up after this break. One of our great supporters here in the Adelaide Footy League this year is Business Plaza. They do great work helping clubs raise much needed funds. One of those is the Goody Saints. Let's hear from Craig Scott.
The Goody Saints are going to partner with Business Plaza because of their track record, and also they're a major sponsor of the Adelaide Footy League, and they've brought in big companies like Vodafone and Catch Group. We feel we can better engage with our members and our players through the app, and I encourage you to get on board and become a member of Business Plaza.
Hi folks, well, we're joined by Josh Giddings from the Pulteney Football Club. Thanks very much for coming down, Josh. Great to have you here.
Tony. Cheers.
I won't go into it, one of my old clubs, but
few
years back. Yes, that's correct.
I've been watching these videos, mate.
Oh, mate. So listen, how long have you been captain of the club?
Took over last year. I'm actually co-captain with Dalton Tucker. He's looking after his son tonight, so he can't be here. But we both took it over from Chris Rollins last year. So far, so good.
Big roles, club stalwart, mate, of course.
Absolutely,
played his whole career there, I reckon. And
great leader.
Great bloke. So, do you have an expanded leadership group along with captain, vice captain, and deputy vice captain?
Yeah, we got a couple of us in there, so I think there's about 3 or 4 other boys in there that will be able to share the load around. So that should be real helpful.
Excellent. Do you have this is a good one, Matthew. Do you have a pre-game address now? Do you do it in the rooms? Do you do it on the ground? Or do you have 2 bites at the cherry?
So for me, I'm definitely not a planned person. I'm more of a, I'll pick the vibe and I'll say what I need to say when I need to say it. When I believe it's the right time to say something, I'll chime into the boys. But I don't sort of like to be controlling. I like to let the boys sort of focus in and do their thing, and then when I think I need to settle them in or get them razzed up, I come in to do that as a leader.
That's very good. There's an art to reading people and reading teams and body language. You don't just say, well, it's 5 minutes to go, so I'm going to do it now.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
You go by the feel in the rooms and so on, and of course you've got a co-captain that you'll be discussing that with as well.
And players tend to take to that a lot better. They tend to take to that a lot better as opposed to every week, this time, you say this thing sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's a bit monotonous. So,
wow, good on you. Yeah, I really love that attitude. What is your Saturday pre-game meal or drink? So we'll start again with yourself, Brendan.
Yeah, I'll probably just bake an egg sandwich in the morning. I always like to have a couple of killer pythons or something just before the game. But
oh, yeah. Oh, jeez.
Not too much else because I get a bit crook in the guts as well.
Yeah, full of sugar, mate.
Yeah, you need a little bit of a buzz sometimes.
And Josh?
Yeah, running a bit of a similar diet, I think. I usually have eggs on toast and then get stuck into a bag of snakes before the game.
Wow. Well, as I said, premiership, guys. So get on to the Snakes if you want to win a premiership. There you go. Interesting one here. So we'll start with you, Sean. What position do you play, and how does this affect your communication with the rest of the team?
Yeah, I just play on the ball mostly, and basically because I get to get around the whole ground, I end up organising most centre ball ups and give everyone on the team a bit of a bake every now and again. So yeah. Basically get to talk to everyone, which is good on field.
Yep. And Adam?
Similar. Been midfield for a fair few years, but probably slowly slipping forward now a bit more.
Yeah.
So it's probably good to have both of us sort of. We switch through there a fair bit, and been able to communicate on ball, a bit up forward, get the guys moving up there, creating some spaces.
No, that's good. Do you clean them out when you're up forward and just say, leave it up to me, boys? Fantastic. Yeah. How would you like your leadership to be remembered? 15, 20 years down the track, you're at a reunion, they're saying, yes, Ruby was in our leadership group back in 2020. What do you think they'll be saying about you? Did you encourage the young ones? Did you lead by example?
Hopefully something good.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to be known as leading by example. Well, I'm coaching the under-12s, so hopefully they remember that I was like a part of the development at the club, and
Fantastic. Well, if you play long enough, you certainly look young enough to play long enough, you'll be playing with some of those girls that you're coaching now.
I'd love to do that.
In a nice way, so that 6 years' time, they'll be 18 and you'll be playing with them, and that will be very fruitful for yourself and for the club.
Yeah.
So fantastic.
That would be cool.
Just an interesting one. Your position, what position do you play on game day?
Throughout centre, but mainly on the wing.
Okay. Oh, okay. So you're a speedy one up and down the ground.
I try.
Yeah. Do you like going forward and kicking goals, or do you like to go forward but you also need a captain to be down back?
Yeah, I love getting a few goals. I'm not very good at it, but give it a good hot crack.
Get down, as we were talking there before, if you get within 40, 50 metres and the big white post come up, well, why not have a look?
So it's a bit far for me at the moment.
Yeah, do you play on the Adelaide Uni grounds as well?
Yeah.
Love that. How many teams at your club, including men's and women?
So in the men's seniors, we've got the 4 teams, including 18s, and then in the women's, we have the 2 senior and the 1 18. So we're going well.
And the women's quite strong down there, isn't it? You've got, of course, we'll name drop, but Greg Phillips is coaching the women. So have you had any interaction with the women teams in regards to training?
Yep, definitely. We like to call our club like a A1 club sort of thing.
Great.
So we always we have a couple of sessions during the year to mingle in and make everyone feel welcome. So,
look, that's the unique thing about being a local footy league, isn't it? And it's integration, and it's one club off the field. I love hearing that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So, Brent, what is your Saturday morning pre-game breakfast?
I usually go with a bit of Wheat Bix and always a banana. And just
good.
a Gatorade, and there I go.
Yep. How would you like your captaincy to be remembered down the track when the players all have a reunion? They say, Jack Green, what a captain he was. What are they going to be saying about you?
Oh, look, I'd hope they'd think that I'm a pretty approachable guy, someone that's relatable to. I mean, I like to think there's nothing too special about me at all. So I hope, if nothing else, the boys in the team can look at me and think, he works hard, hopefully, and that's why I hope to leave at the club, just a hard worker and approachable guy. So.
Your legacy, how would you like your captaincy to be remembered down the track at the reunions?
Yeah, I'd love to be remembered as a bloke who brought everyone together, the A's, B's, C's and the 18s, just real community, approachable sort of bloke that, brought everyone together, and possibly a premiership captain as well.
Oh, very good. I like it. All right, Jared, thank you very much for coming down, mate, and best wishes for the season moving forward.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Hey Jeff, where do you get your shoes?
Catch! 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 Catch.com.au. Screaming good deals.
Catch!
Welcome back, folks. Half-time here at Goodwood Oval. It is Port District by 25 points. And gentlemen, here are your stats. And they show that Port Districts are leading some categories, but not dominating, as the scoreboard indicates.
Yeah, they do. Looks like in the hit-out department that Goodwood had a fair ascendancy, well, both quarters actually, 17 to 10, 15 to 5. Interesting, we'll just talk about the hit-outs for a second. One of my pet hates is in the centre circle, guys that want to hit the ball back. Mm-hmm. It's a blind hit, and both sides have been guilty of that on occasions, and it hasn't worked for them, so not sure about the structure. We did talk earlier about the structure of boundary throw-ins too. Neither side having a sweeper on occasions at the back. Really risky manoeuvre, but in terms of the trend of the game, boys, Port Districts, I thought the first 10 minutes of that second quarter just went away from what they'd been doing exceptionally well in the first quarter, and that was the delivery to switch the ball quickly in the back half and hit up some shorter targets. They tended to go long down the line and got ball turned over continually. Halfway through the quarter, they got that back on track, bring the ball, switch in the play, and looked a lot better.
Before we get Tony's thoughts and an update from Ben Tippett, let's go around Division 1. As expected, St Peter's are going 3-0. They look like it. They lead Adelaide University by 41 points. Goody Saints and Districts, well, that's a 26-point lead to Districts. The Jets and Bombers, the dogfight. It's Brighton by just a goal in a low-scoring game. Prince Alfred and Ross Trevor, we mentioned, it's Princes by 11 points, and we're just waiting for a score from Payneham. A must-win for Payneham Norwood Union. Ben Tippett has been out and about. Ben, anything to report to us?
Thanks, Phil. Conditions are still good down here. Wind still going to the right of screen. Probably still a 2-goal breeze. Heard a bit of talk from the Goodwood boys saying season's on the line, so they're really gonna get stuck in this quarter. Nothing else to report. Everyone's healthy.
Yeah, we're pretty healthy in here as well too. And listen, 4 rounds in, the season's on the line. It's interesting with the 9-round season, but like Sean alluded to, that first 10 minutes of that quarter for Port Districts, they almost went away a little bit from what they did in the first quarter, wondering whether the wind may have been a factor, that they were kicking with the wind, expecting that might help. But I'll tell you what I did like is that they use a good spread across the whole ground. I had that in my keys to the game earlier. Spread the load throughout your players. They run well off the back line. They use each other, and I really like the way they kick and handball the ball
Very
to
quickly,
each other.
We've got the Dartfish player of the game. Anyone you'd be nominating now, Jacko?
Well, it's a pretty even spread. We could go through quite a few from each side, but we won't, because the ball's about to be bounced. The same two ruckmen go at it head to head. This time Carter hits the ball forward. Much more aggressive manoeuvre right off the bat. Ends up with Tommy Anderson, who swings around on the right foot. Now deep inside Goodwood Saints forward line. Looks like going to get first shot on goal here through... who is that, boys?
Fraser Goods.
Fraser Goods, who came in the team late. Yes, nice finish and a nice passage of play. Nice aggressive start in the ruck from Carter.
Indeed, and that is exactly Goodwood Saints season on the line needed, Tony. It is a 9-game season. You start zipping 3. In theory, you need to win 5 games to make the finals, 5 and 4. That means you have to win 5 of your last 6, a very tough ask. That brings it back to 19 points, and you're with Tony Neal.
And that is the mathematical equation. I'll leave up to you, Phil. It's very well rounded out for us. So a good start. The thing with Goodwood Saints, you have to play 100 minutes. Well, they've got 50 to go, and Can they keep it rolling now? That's the start they needed within the first 20 seconds. And Sean, you called it because Tom Carter absolutely smashed that ball forward. And here he is again. Up he goes. This time it's the left hand. He's given him the advantage every time. Now they go forward. Player down in the middle after that kick. Bobbling around there. Oh, just played it beautifully for the umpire. I reckon he might have been legged was McInerney. And he's just looking up at that player now. Will they switch out? He's got a player running there beautifully too. Heads out that way. That was a great lead, but he's kicked it. I've liked this player too. Tom Anderson. Is he the fireman?
Yeah, he is indeed, and it's a good mark under severe pressure.
He's been playing well.
He has the footy now. Looking for options. Not much inside. Has to go long like they did in the first quarter continually. It didn't work from then. Works for him now though. Shot on goal. It's a beautiful take off the pack. And that's the man playing his 100th game, I reckon, boys.
Helms, was it?
No.
Mason Ellis.
Correct. Wait. Phil, you're on the ball.
So at the moment, it is the Saints who have some work to do, that have a little bit of momentum. 2 scoring shots to nil thus far in the opening 2 minutes of what they call the Premiership quarter. And the Districts, of course, in theory, going into the breeze. If they can be in front, heading for home, you think they're going to be good things, which 3 of our 4 tipsters would like. The kick in, though, well picked up and well marked by the Saints. He'll bring it back in. This is Holzbauer, too far out to score. Holzbauer and Coop the Gaffney. That's been quite the matchup today. Both have had their share of highlights. Inside 50. Just a bit of aerial ping pong at the moment. Some quick hands by Districts through Sean Davidson. He will get the clearance. But the Phantom number 5.
Tom Edwards.
Tom Edwards, that's right. He changed his number. Sends the Saints back. I'll get to you in a sec. Tony is off hands. It goes through for a behind. It is now Saints 5-5, Districts 8-5. Tony, it's an 18-point margin.
And they've penetrated forward a couple of times here. Port District, we're 3 minutes in and haven't had it inside their 50, I don't reckon. And just for the people at home watching, there's a big ring around the outside of the 50. Now, this player played on last time and just bombed it out, so Goodwood Saints have got their measure. Don't just waste the ball when you've got a kick in. It's got to hit a target, so he's hit towards the ruckman. Nice grab there in front was McInerney. Quickly kicks forward, player running forward. I tell you what, he's only light, but he's got good courage, and that's Gould. Gould on the left foot, kicks to space. 2 on 1, no, 2 on 2. Good battle there, and taken down on the ground. Ball bobbling around. Can they get out? Port Districts just dropped to the ground, and it's going to be a free kick. And I just feel Goodwood Saints at the moment, Sean, have got a little bit of an ascendancy, and here comes the switch finally.
They have, and Tommy Lynch it is who directs the ball out to Tommy Edwards. He's looking for options, trying to go inboard. There's nothing given there, but he does affect a beautiful kick to Nick Burgess, who's a long way from full forward. He might have come up the ground. Big, strong player is Nick Burgess, looking for the short kick.
That'll do.
Luck is a fortune sometimes, and Levi Elms has ended up the ball. He's got options aplenty, not sure where he's going to go. Looks one way, looks the other, still hanging on. Now it's all closed down, and you will find Luke McInerney jumps back into the hole. But what he has done cleverly, the ball has ended up with Josh Slate. Is he close enough to have a ping? He's not. But how well is that Tom Anderson again, boys?
I think it might be. They manufactured that, didn't they, at the other side?
Well, what I liked about that, in comparison to the first quarter where they were just bombing the ball long, they realised they didn't have the numbers, and so they did manufacture it, as you said, Tony, beautifully.
So Anderson has kicked 19 goals from 19 games last year. He's above average. He's got 2, looking for 3. This would really bring the game alive. And he has kicked a critical goal for the Saints. That is 2 in a row, back-to-back. Makes the margin now 12 points, his 3rd. Thank you, Tony. And we've got ourselves a footy game. Just like last week, the Saints have given their opponents a lead, but they're coming back.
So 5 minutes in, and they've pushed that scoreboard through. They're 2 goals down now. This is the time now. Can they get a bit of belief? I really felt, Sean, the first half they were nervous, they were fumbly, they weren't hitting targets, they were bombing, and I know we've gone through that.
Yep.
Third quarter, you come out, you can't keep doing the same thing, expect a different result.
Insanity
this quarter,
definition, yes.
Yeah, they look really good. Let's just see if their ruckman... He's always given first tap, but it's what happens next, the old Lee Matthews thing. Who wins the tap, it's what happens next. So this time, Districts get it, but out of the centre again, strong and hard. One handball, two handball, a little bit slow. Player out wide. Oh, the ruckman could have absolutely cleaned him up there, Gould. Gould from on the ground. Gets the ball to release to the Port Districts player. Big pack forms. Taken high there. They've been quite stoic in defence here.
Yep, Louis Whitelock it is, the skipper who's got the footy now. The left footer switches to play nicely. Ball in the hands of Tommy Edwards. Yep. And that's another good catch. He's having a terrific quarter, isn't he, Tommy Anderson? 3 goals off the wing. They're going to have to do something about that player, Port Districts, if they're going to curtail the run. Ball now bobs along, and a head-high tackle from Nick Favretto. A bit ambitious there. And young Cooper Gaffney, in his first season of Port Districts, back from Woodville West Torrens, the left footer has the ball in his hands.
Yeah, if you're looking at skilled players with some upside, you'd probably put Favretto in that group. I've not seen him much or called him much, but it's with Districts in the centre square. They're bringing it right across. Do they have the target? A good attempt there by Dempsey to force the contested footy. Ends up back with Dempsey. Kicks it just on the boundary line and finds a target. This looks like Johnson who's going to bring it back in board. There's Favretto again. And he gets himself a free, and special comments from the field. Favretto. You can see there the angle we've got. What's he got to kick to? And just kicks it over the top of the defender. Was looking for Elms. By forward 50, Anderson this time the hand pass in hope. There is a teammate there by the boundary. This is Edwards. The shot is straight between the posts. Goal of the day for mine. Might even be a goal of the week on the show. That's a spark, and all of a sudden, Tony Neal, it's a 1-goal footy game.
Well, that was a good goal, wasn't it? And I tell you, where that started down here, Lou Whitelock won a 50-50 on the ground that could have easily just pushed over the boundary line. He was lying horizontal on the ground and got a handball, a good handball. That's the difference, Sean.
Yep, no, couldn't agree.
Out, they got it down, bang, goal.
Yes, Port Districts have made a change in the ruck on the last centre bounce, and Wiestra did get his hands on it, Tony, and he is still there.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it didn't result in a goal to Port Districts, but they did get the last centre clearance. Let's see what happens here. Wiestra again, left-hand tap, gets first look at it. Pushes the ball forward. Carter, good effort on the ground.
Ooh.
Beautiful smother in the centre square by Tom Anderson, again charging in off the wing. Results in a Goodwood Saints possession. And Jacob Hughes wheels onto the right foot, has a crack at the goals, but that man again, McInerney, intercepts the ball and finds Dougie Gregg on the far side in a quick relay of play.
Gregg finds out Davidson in front of their temporary change rooms. Be much more salubrious when they come back next year.
Who?
Salubrious.
That means getting on the gas.
Which means much better. Much better.
We'll have to go to Benny in a minute and find out what it's like from the sidelines, but it looks like the wind has dropped away. Ben, how's it feeling out there?
Dropped away a little bit, yeah. It's actually good to see a team scoring with the breeze this quarter, though.
Yeah. Good call, Benny, and you're here for your comedy routine. Gaffney's got it in the centre of the ground. Looks short. Finds Brad Beswick. He looks up. Bit slow to get the ball moving. Now he's got nothing, and Goodwood Saints are able to flood back. He does it well, though. He kicks short. Finds Jack Cooper. Had a good second quarter, did Cooper. What's he going to do? Doesn't want to bomb the ball. Have a look at the numbers back Goodwood Saints have got. He's got to find a short kick. He lays it up 1-on-2. Tom Lynch nudging the back from Tommy. Yeah. You can't get away with that, son. Your old man used to do that too. He got away with it.
I don't remember Robbie Lynch being a redhead.
He was not. His mum is, Sammy. And that's a beautiful kick. Finds Fozzie. He's going to be in a beautiful position about 45 metres out. Jeez, he's impressed me, Foster. He works hard, doesn't he? He looks slightly overweight, Phil. Put your finger down. I can see it once. I don't need you to keep your holding your hand up. But he does look a bit overweight. But he's an effective player. Going to goal number 2. Or he's kicked 2. Is that what you're telling me? Righto. I'll call it home then if you don't want to take it.
That's how it works with the professionals, Jacko.
Righto. Foster from 45 on the left. Steers it straight through the middle. Port District badly needed goal, that one. Phil.
You should do more of that, Sean. That's his third.
Yeah, if you call the lead up, you get to call the kick. So, a steadier. Didn't Districts need that? 12 points the margin. Where are we at? 10 minutes. It's been a busy third quarter. It's certainly gone up a notch. Saints have kicked 3 goals. And we'll keep an eye. The inside 50s leading up to that. Goodies had 7, Port District's just the 3, so starved of opportunity. And now they've moved Tommy Corcoran into defence. Back in the middle we go. Umpire throws it up. The Rucks will go to it this occasion. Oh, Wiestra grabbed it, kicked it all in one. It's inside 50. Can the Batty make sense of it? He's tackled left and low and high. No free, comes out to the boundary line, kick inside 50, out of bounds. Going to be a big throw-in, going to lob pretty close to the goal square. It's Districts by 12 points.
So the big ruckman there, Carter, he's moved around the ground well. Wiestra actually back a kick. So is there a ruckman? Someone's going to have to fly for Port Districts here, but can we pick him out? I see the fingers pointing, but player just coming in now. He's a long way off it. So over the back it comes, though. That player's on the ground now, and I reckon that's
Shepherd.
Shepherd, is it? Yep. On the ground. Umpire's paid, holding the ball. Tell you what you alluded to before, just while this bit of play's on. Wiestra in the ruck, he's running around a lot, but he's not coming down deep. But, geez, he's moving around a lot, and he's got a lot of possessions, isn't he, in that ruck? Here he is coming out towards the wing here.
Yep, I think he's made a difference since going in, and this is the experienced Anthony Dempsey. Plays most of his footy on the wing, probably played more premierships than all of the Port District side combined as Anthony Dempsey. He goes back to Louis Whitelock, the skipper. Watch this kick, boys. Is one of the best kicks in the competition by a long way. Probably him and Jolly from PAC. Transfers the ball, and as if on cue, called by the greatest caller. Unfortunately, his teammate let him down in Tommy Galing. I won't relive that one, Tommy.
Well, Galing tries to get some redemption. In the end, couldn't quite grab it. It's going to be a throw-in in front of the tennis courts. And a bit of a canteen there. Doing some roaring trade, and great to see clubs able to make some money now.
You're working from tent to tent, Phil. There's one over there and there's one down there.
I am. I haven't tried that canteen.
Diagonally opposite flanks they are.
Might be a 3/4 time job. From the clearance, it's going to be Districts, and I've lost to Mike. Might go to Tony Neal.
That is a great grab. Put the one Duke out, stuck the hand out, and there's the grab. So Jack Gaffney, he's already kicked one. He'll be kicking from 45 out, as we've said, straight in front, so it should be quite an easy kick for a highly skilled player. And I've liked the Gaffney boys. They've been really, really good today. So he comes in, hits it sweetly, but just pops it out to the right. A fair way out, but through for a point. So let's just see Goodwood's kick in. I reckon that wind's dropped as well, so at some point we'll get our boundary rider to give us a hoy. That's a long kick into the middle of the ground. The big ruckman go up, bounces down. Goodwood Saints strong at the ball. They've been first in their attack on it as well. Davidson can't get it out. Ball on the ground again, just reaching down the big ruckman. It almost came to him. It was almost self-defence as the ball came into his arms. So how are we looking with the weather? Looks like that wind's dropped, has it, there, Ben?
Definitely dropped. It's a little bit patchy, though. Sometimes going across the ground. So left of screen, you want to aim for the left-hand goalpost. Right of screen, probably right-hand goalpost if you're having a shot.
Just keeping Benny on his toes. He's in his fourth pie there, and unfortunately a little bit dribbled on the chin. Benny, Goodwood Saints away from the stoppage nicely, but a good turnover by Tommy Corcoran. Sells the pup not once, twice, and goes to Batty. Not able to control it, unfortunately. And Goodwood Saints able to relieve the ball, although Corcoran there again, we know he's good in the air, and that's no exception. He should get a free kick there, I think he does. Not sure about the move for him loose in defence, boys. I thought his start to the game in the middle was exceptional, and I think I've been inclined to leave him there. What they've done now is they've set him up as the loose player, and McInerney's become accountable for a direct opponent. But McInerney was doing an exceptional job in that area, so I'm not sure why the change. But anyway, the ball's in the hands of Cooper Gaffney. Left footer. Got a few left footers in the team, Port Districts. Fair kick that'll require. Don't think he'll make the distance personally. Let's see how good a judge I am. Yes, very good. Ball lands short, and that's not where you want it to land, Tony. If you can't make the distance, where do you go, son?
Top of the square. Hot spot. About 10 metres out.
Right, thought I taught you better than that, Cooper.
Well picked by Jacko. That's why he gets paid the big bucks as our special comments guru. As it's marked by Hamish Burns at the true centre half-back position. Sends it to the eastern side, the hillside here at Goodwood Oval, looking for Ollie Johnson. Well picked up by Luke McInerney.
That's a bit of a nothing kick for me. They had it in the middle of the ground. You've got to be strong and aggressive. Get it down the ground or chip it out here and play forward. It's just dribbled out of bounds over there on that far side.
Ball back in play. Taken high, maybe not. Stoppage in the middle. And I think everyone's just taking a bit of a breath here. It's been a back and forth game. Goody Saints kicked the first two. Port got one back. 14 points the margin. Ball spills free. It's done nicely. This is Slape in front of the new scoreboard. Finds a target. It's the big ruckman.
Moves well, doesn't he?
Tommy Carter.
Got a bit of speed.
Nice grab, I tell you what. The ball almost went flat when he marked that.
He played every game last year for Goody Saints and kicked 3 goals.
Yeah, it's probably reminiscent of us not to mention the fact that his brother's not playing today. He's a very important player. And amongst, I saw the 2 Thring boys walk off at half time. They would have liked to have them play along with Carter, Maximilian and Tommy Barry, who's still serving suspensions. 4 pretty good players out of the side for Goodwood Saints, but Port Districts equally have some good players out. Tony?
He actually kicked that well in regards to distance, but not accuracy. It might have been a set play player just getting a bit of cramp that kicked that in. I reckon that's number 4 is Greg there. He's just limping properly back in the background. Anyway,
Lucky
the ball
Greg.
comes down the ground. Big high kick in. That's going to give Goodwood a chance. Paddy's been quiet. No left hand. For a Division 1 player, he might need to work on that. But ball bobbling around. And the difference there, just the difference between a handball hitting and not hitting. And we get a ball up here right on the wing for Goodwood Saints. There are a couple of wingers out the other side, although this time it comes to the boundary side, this time leading front of the ball. You'll never make that metre up if you stand behind, and that's what happens. Nice kick in on the left foot to the fat side and big jukes,
mark.
And that's our man Carter again. I think I get to call this because I was calling the play.
Phil's rules.
So, Tom Carter it is.
Someone jumps in with a comment.
Yep.
You take a breath and prepare for the big call of the kick.
I don't take a breath, mate. From the first bounce to the last, siren to siren, there's no breath required.
We've noticed.
No oxygen. So Carter it is. He's about 60 out, dead in front. The wind has dropped. Drops it onto the boot. Talking about drop, that's dead-eye Dick. That is what we call 6 points, and that's a magnificent team lifter, surely.
Yes, and I'll tell you what, boys, I've liked that move. Carter's gone forward and has given him something the last 2 forward entries. He's kicked that one, so he's certainly given him something there, but the previous one he also let out with some real speed. Wouldn't have picked that, which means Big Angus Clark has gone into the ruck, and we know he's just come off 2 weeks of isolation, so I suggest to you his physical conditioning is probably a little bit off the pace. But he goes up against Fraser Thorne in this centre bounce, and for Port Districts, Fraser Thorne needs to exert some influence on the game now. He needs to win this tap, and with Port Districts want a centre clearance. Let's have a look at it, boys. Big throw.
Long way off.
Clark ends up with Cooper Gaffney. Blind handball. You only do that in basketball, son. Fraser Thorne's finished with it. Kept it alive. Got all the answers, Goodwood Saints, although they're under a bit of pressure now. Josh Slape, I've liked his game this quarter.
Yeah.
Yep, he's had a good quarter, and Lockie Gregg able to smother the ball. First game back from injury. Did look like he was in a bit of trouble there a couple of minutes ago, Tony, but he's okay now.
Might have cramp somewhere else there by the looks of it.
Cramp.
Yeah, that's possibly coming. We're about to head into time on of the third quarter. Third game of a shortened season with a very interrupted preparation.
Favretto.
It's in the middle. Let's see what Port Districts can do. It's with Cooper Gaffney. I like the fact he's got the headband, something to uniquely identify you with. He's kicked over no special, and that was a bit crude front on there by Jack Cooper.
Angus Clark
and
it was. Scott Blessing.
And Scott Blessing is down for a count at the moment. He's up. Usually it's like the juniors. If the kid goes down, give them the footy. Often they're quite better very quickly.
And you might say he's counting the blessings.
Yes, indeed.
Lucky to get that. Was a loud. We could hear that here, and he's not 100%. I don't reckon.
No.
That's just a general comment. I'm not just saying because of the hit.
He hasn't got the football anymore. He's feeling worse again.
No,
yes, where the game's gone. Jack Cooper's
well.
just apologised to him for hitting him, I think. Wouldn't be accepted on the peninsula 10 years ago. Let me assure you that. I see Rowan Smith and Robbie Lynch over there. They certainly wouldn't have apologised to too many players back in their day.
No, he's got it back, Blessing. The inside-out screwy. So big pack forms, a nice, good courage shown now. I like Sean Davidson. He's just hard at the ball. Just about every kick, Sean, that he's done has been low and penetrating, not a high kick like this.
Yep, knows how to punch the ball to Sean Davidson. That's a good catch by, I'm not sure who that is over the far side. Yeah, Port District's nice call. I know that one, though. That's another one of the Gaffney's Jack variety. He kicks it into Foster. Unlucky, nearly had it. Ball spills out. Goodwood Saints. Fantastic tackle from Cooper Gaffney. Boys, what a quarter is he having?
I think Foster's done the shoulder there too, Sean. Sorry to jump in.
Oh, right. It's ended up with Batty around the corner. This is his bread and butter, and he makes no exception out of that one, Batty. That's his second, I believe. Yes, but, boys, Cooper Gaffney is having the quarter. Whew, you pay money to see this quarter of footy by Cooper.
Did you say that was his bread and batty? By Batty. I'm a bit confused there.
So who went off, guys? Just fill me in, Benny. We get an injury there, did we?
Jack Foster, I reckon, was it? Oh, no, he's still out there.
Of course, the Interchangers, thanks to Interchanger, one of our great sponsors, along with the Elders Weather app and OTR Division Match of the Day. And, of course, post-game, we'll have the Dartfish stats, and Ben Tippett will go and interview our Dartfish player of the day. That's if Jacko and Tony can work out who that is. The game up for grabs at the moment. Tommy Carter with the tap. Favoretto, it was the player tackled on that earlier goal by Districts into some space. Here they go. Port Districts a chance to extend their lead. He's already cheering before it crosses the goal line.
Beautifully called, Phil. Beautifully called.
It was Jack Foster. I'm going to give that to until told otherwise.
Yes, correct.
4 on the day.
Yes, that's like the one he kicked very early in the game. Tony, the first goal of the day.
And just on that, he took that ball. He had a bit of a look. And he backed himself. He ran that extra 5 metres and thought, I reckon I can make this. And he kicked it. That's about knowing your skill set and backing yourself in. That was a good contest out on the wing. Port District turned around. A couple of late goals have given them breathing space again. They're 3 goals, 2 up. Goodwood Saints had at that point kicked 4-1 for the quarter, but now Port District back in it. So
yeah, some interesting stats, guys. Port Districts have got 7 of the last 9 inside 50s. They really put the clamps on. And Goodwood have turned the ball over 9 times to Port's 4 in this quarter. So Port District's just squeezing it. It's a game that's going in ebbs and flows, but 3-goal margin of Port Districts at the moment. I reckon if they can get it out to 5 by 3/4 time, you could shut it up in the last quarter.
Lucky with the football, it bounced into the construction site and bounced straight back out again.
And Gayling it was, took a high hit there too, Phil.
Those footies, you don't want to have to replace them too often at this level. Gayling goes into the middle, another intercept mark. This is Shepherd. What can Districts do on the turnover? It's opening up some space on the far side. A stop, a prop, a kick towards 50 through a pair of hands. Ooh. It's picked up though by Gerling again. He sends it out to the outer side. And umpires found a push in the back. And Tony, Districts, another chance to go into attack. We're 24 gone. If they get another goal here, coming home in the breeze, I reckon it might just be all done and dusted.
Oh, wouldn't shut the gate too quickly there, Phil. But yes, it'll give a fair breathing space for them. They tend to use the ball very well. Now, just for the people at home watching, players need to be on the move inside 50. There's a lead coming now. It gets on it. That's a strong lead nice too, and that was Gaffney. I'll tell you what, I'm getting confused. There's so many Gaffneys. They're all playing well. Nice precision kick into the space, but that was quickly clouded. He's had about 3 touches just recently as Gelling, but it's just a bomb out again. The big ruckman's got his work cut out now, showing a bit of pace. Handballs to the ground. Smart play, but he's quite elusive, Sean.
Yeah,
for his size, he actually shows a bit more, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, good effort for a man about 6 foot 400 to move around like he does. And don't forget, guys, he spent probably the first 2.5 quarters in the ruck without much respite. Clark it is at the middle. Now against Thorne, or wasn't Clark actually in the end, it looks like Kale Matthews taken a little bit of ruck work. Ooh. Good pressure from the Port Districts player means the ball once again be thrown in on the wing, and it's Thorne again up against Kale Matthews. So I'm not sure where Big Angus Clark has gone, boys. Whether they've loaded up the forward line, put Clark and Carter up there, have they?
We'll find out shortly. I mean, when the players move up or down, sometimes they're a forward, sometimes they're a defender, even though they're a midfielder, as we're in the middle. Oh, big bump taken out there. And teammate comes over, shakes her, gives a little ruffle of the hair. Tony?
And I think if you go down a kick, Sean Davidson's the free man. I think there, Sean, you can see he's got his job ahead of him because he's got to stand in that space ahead of where Carter's going to lead to. So there's 2 on to 1. We'll see if we can get a kick in. Here it comes now. And this is the pack I was talking about. There he is. Just gets a little push in the back. So there's our free man right down deep to hold out the full forward lead. I'll tell you what, Carter's done a massive load of work because he's been in the ruck and pretty much this quarter played up forward, which has worked for them.
You were thinking Peter Cavan versus Tony Lockett there, I think, Tony, but that were a few years ago now. Comes out of the
Good
back
hands.
half nicely. Got a new Guernsey on that player. I'm not
Nathan
sure who
Wright.
that is. Nathan Wright, is
no,
it?
He's been out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kick short, as they've tended to do very well today, Port Districts. They've used the ball exceptionally well.
Batty running here.
Yes.
2 kicks
enough
away.
it's enough to drive your batty if you're standing him.
Ooh.
This one's long down the line. Who we got underneath it? Good contest. And he does provide a good contest continually. Gavin Shepherd stands under the ball well. Goodwood Saints have got the footy transfer out the far side. This is dangerous. Batty territory and he's marked it. Oh, they're going to rue that inside kick. Not sure who that player was, but best I don't identify him. James Batty for his second for the quarter and second for the game, or
just while he lines up, he did kick one in the second quarter before. 3-quarter time at Prince's, they lead Ross Trevor by 20 points at lemon time.
Okay. James Batty, almost identical position to where he kicked his last one from, I think. 20 metres, 22.5 metres out, almost straight in front. Looks good off the boot, no problems. And that is his third. And got a long way to go to get 9 from last week, but he's on track.
Now that's just smart play. The ball was on the wing, and as you were calling, I called that he ran down. I wouldn't call it sacrificial running because he's running towards their goals, but he ran hard to get down into that area.
Yep.
The kick was 2 kicks away. It ended up being 3. He got back in. Goodwood Saints, as we said, turned the ball over, but he was back into that position because he did the hard work off the ball.
Well, it was a risky kick, wasn't it? Let's be honest, from Lockie Ryan. It was a really risky kick, I think.
Either kick right across and get out of that area or kick down the line, but don't kick into that centre back area. That was just one of my little golden rules, Sean.
It's starting to get bleak for Goody Saints. Another clearance to Districts. They're looking to pull in the
day.
Carter!
And Carter has come in, and I said if Districts get 1 goal before 3-quarter time, it could be all over. I reckon a goal here, it probably will be.
Well, we talked about 5-goal margin at 3-quarter time, Phil. They're already 5 now. This will put them 6, and we are how far in?
28 minutes. I've got what I call a 40-20 rule in the Sandful. If you're 40 points up, 20-minute mark of the third quarter, you do not lose. But
this ain't the Sandful, Phil.
It ain't the Sandful. It is 3-quarter time, and Districts have scored on the bell.
Look at him flat into him.
The last 2, they've won the quarter. They've extended their lead to 31 points. Districts are 13-7, 85. The Saints started strong but did not go fully through the quarter. They're 8-6-54. Tony Neal, goal scorers, please.
Well, they Goodwood Saints have got Mason Ellis with 1, Tom Anderson with 3, and his first half of that quarter was very good. Tom Edwards 1, Tom Carter with 2, and Oliver Johnson with 1. I've got James Batty with 3 for Port District, 1 to Corcoran, Jack Gaffney, Mitch Gaffney, Jack Cooper with 1, Jack Foster with 4. Very good quarter out of Jack Foster. Miller Carter, was that his second, I reckon? Yep, that was his second, thank you, or 2 pies, Phil. So, very good there. Oh, and Fraser Goods has 1 for Goodwood. Can I just mention there, that quarter, Goodwood Saints kicked 4 quickly. Port District had 1, and now we've seen they've kicked 5 for the quarter. They actually outscored them there, and, geez, they poured it on that probably the last 8 or so minutes of that quarter. And haven't they got a sniff?
They have indeed. We will take a break. We'll be back with a chat. Get some thoughts on our Dartfish player of the game, some Dartfish stats. Hope you're enjoying Match Day Live.
Hey, Jeff, where do you get your shoes?
Catch! 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 Catch.com.au. Screaming good deals.
Catch!
Welcome back, folks. It is Port Districts 13-7-85, Goody Saints 8-6-54. Three-quarter time is mentioned at Prince's. It is Prince's 9-8, Ross Trevor 6-6. That's thanks to Collingwood 041. On the chat, here are some stats. Here's Jacko to explain it all.
Yeah, well, boys, they just finished the quarter exceptionally well, didn't they, Port Districts? But if you look at the hit-outs, once again, they controlled most of that 13-8. Tackles were pretty even, 8-11, and turnovers were probably where Goodwood Saints got themselves in trouble a little bit, 11 times to 5. So a big difference there. Centre clearance is fairly similar, but around the ground, Goodwood Saints were very good, 15-5. And Ben's been at the breaks. What have you seen, Ben?
Just the key messages. Port Districts, the forwards coach was very happy. The guys were pushing up into the win. They've got to stay deep this quarter. From a team perspective, look to switch, look to use the ball better than they did last time with the win. Over at Goodwood, they've got to crash in hard. They've got to look for a runner off half back, really take the game on, and quick entry into the forward line.
Yep. Rowan Smith making his way off the oval, just holding things. So come on, Rowan, let's keep things moving, son.
Don't know where he is.
And even the umpire's saying, hurry up. Oh, no, we've got a little youngster, unfortunately, who probably Auskick age. Not quite ready for A grade. But here we go, final quarter on Matchday Live, and you're with Tony Neal.
So the ruckman up they go. Carter again wins that left-handed slap to the ground, and big pack forms and bang, in they come, and he's gone on with it too. He has fairly gone on with it, and Jacob Hughes it was. The umpire just says, give it here, I'm chucking it up, and he chucks up back to Hughes. Just gives it out quickly. It's game for the willing here, Sean. Call it.
Yeah, rattle poor old Brad Beswick, young kid playing probably his first year of senior footy. But it's not about that, is it? It's about the ability to stand up after that, and he looks like he's making his way to the interchange bench, Brad. And he will be replaced. Goodwood Saints have got it, though. The handball beautiful to Holmes-Bauer. Back to the same player again in Jacob Hughes. Good pressure from Port Districts, however. Keeps the ball alive. And, geez, there's some willing bodies at the moment, boys. Both sides going in extremely hard. They understand the first 5 minutes of this quarter are vitally important in the context of the season. Good switch of play ends up with Ollie Johnson, Phil.
Ollie Johnson, the Saints have to score the first goal if they're any hope. They've got it with Hamish Byrne. He kicks it right in front of our broadcast van to the top of the square at the back. Doing very well as Anderson, but he's facing about 3 opponents. Numbers will win it for Districts, although a fumble at a crucial moment gives the chance for Burns. His kick beautifully smothered by Zavi. Districts will recover. The first offensive foray has been repulsed, but now it's going to be with Tommy Edwards, Tony, and the Saints will try again.
And that was a strong grab. The unfortunate bit here, without harping on it, but I will, Goody Saints, just another bomb into the forward line. Fortuitously it falls to ground, and that's number 2, Dempsey, that has kicked the goal. But that was off the pack, so it wasn't the best kicking, if you like, but they've got a good start here. And I can just tell you, we're almost 2 minutes in. It's a game for the willing here. Can we see the pressure hold up? And already one player's gone off, and that was young Bezic, who was absolutely cleaned up front on, wasn't he? So, as we saw there, so...
Well, it looks like the Goodwood Saints boys have realised the context of the season, and some of their experienced players have just said, hey, we've got to charge in and try and unsettle some of the young Port Districts kids. And 2 minutes in, they've got the result they're looking for. First goal puts them back within, how many? 25 points, and they're out in the middle here now. Good intercept mark by Matty Wiestra, although they did kick it straight to him. Looks for the short kick, finds Sammy McKay, the big fella. He looks like he's chewing up a little bit of time, although he's got someone short in the middle if he can find him. He doesn't. Looks now. I've been impressed with his game, this Sammy. He's a good kicker of the ball too, normally, and that's no exception. Over the back, Gaffney, Jack Variety, goes onto it, sweeps the ball long to Zach Hawkins on the end of it, punches the ball. Unable to keep possession of the ball, although it's still alive, and Batty's got it, and this is his specialty. Left foot that time, just misses Tony.
She's just gone up a tempo there, Phil.
Indeed, and look, Batty, very quiet first half, has started to be active in the second. And but Goody Saints stay alive. 26 points the margin. 3 minutes gone to the final quarter. Goodwood do not want to start zipping 3, but they're going to have to find 5 goals. And if they do that, hold Districts goalless. It's in front of what basically that is the district interchange bench for today, as we have the construction site on the western side. Rucks go to it.
Oh,
and a great effort by Carter to try and kick it off the ground. In it is Corcoran, but only as far as the Saints in their Indigenous jumper. One more charge forward for Goodwood.
And this is what they can do when they learn to switch the play and not go down the line and be predictable. Look at this, 2-3 kicks, almost a grab, didn't quite get a jump at it, ball bobbles out just about inside our trailer, these players are. So we'll see the players now. Look at the two ruckmen, they're still sprinting across the ground to get here. Umpire's going to throw it in. There is one player, I like this, Sean, look, there's one player behind the two ruckmen.
Yep, Tommy
But
Corcoran
he's actually walked in now, so that space is free. This umpire tends to throw it back a fair way. Third man up, which we haven't seen much at all. Around they go, can they keep it in? No, they can't. So we'll see another ball up inside 50 now, so about 40 metres out from goal. Players just milling around. The rucks again, once again, no one behind. So, and he's pointing to his left-hand side here, Big Carter. Let's just see whether he puts it there. There it goes. There's where he puts it. He taps it to himself, sockers it. Handball off the ground. Up it comes. There'll be another ball up here. Oh, umpires let that go. Goodwood Saints are out here. Turn, quick kick, back on the 45. Can he hit a target?
Holzbauer's got it in the centre of the ground, looks straight up the middle. He's going to go for home, boys. He's going to go for home.
Right.
Oh, well, he's actually, if we had the benefit of slow-mo, what you would see there is he's actually realised he's not going to catch the mark, and he actually looks at the umpire as if to say, I can't mark it. Least you can do is give me a free, and the umpire obliged. Unbelievable. Just threw the old neck back a fraction, and the umpire said, yeah, no worries, James. Have a crack, mate. Line up for number 4. And he is doing that, and he won't miss from there. Oh, let me tell you, he has. Come on, James. You're better than that. Must have felt guilty for getting the free there.
Have you seen that they've got these sticky things now that you can put on top of your boots to hit to assist your kicking? And apparently even AFL players are using. I don't know how much they are actually going to help, but he may have needed one there, Sean.
Well, yeah.
Phil.
Yeah, indeed. I put 4 down on the computer, had to change it back to 3, and he might get a chance at a 4th here. McInerney is marked on the outer centre wing. We've 16 minutes gone. Look, we know who's going to win, so you gentlemen have plenty of time to sort out our Dartfish player of the game.
How far out is he?
He's
having a
surely...
shot.
Have a look.
Oh, gee, there's ambitious. And
Go
then
on the
there's
barrel.
this shot. He wants to go the top,
No,
and he's going to lob it. Oh, that's not a bad kick, actually. That's going to actually score from the outer wing. It's just a behind. We're now to a 42-point lead for Port Districts.
Well, one of the things I say as players and coaches is know your players, but the actual supporters were yelling out, have a shot. He went back on the wing there, lined it up, didn't quite hit it right. This player's closer, not even looking like having a shot. Bit of mulling around and movement through the forward line, bit of zigzag. A lot to see a second effort. Now he's pointing. There might be a contest, and he's looking at. Is he holding that for a screwy?
Is this time wasting?
No, he's lining up. He'd be 85 out as he runs in. Comes in, he's hitting that on about 80, and it doesn't hit it right, so it's come to the front of the square. They won't be allowed to have a shot if they get possession here because they're too close. Player diving on the ball now, gets it out. Here he is again. Batters up again, James Batty. He's been quite stoic in the second half. Umpire, the players are calling for holding the ball. There's only one player there that can con the umpire, mate, and he's on the bottom of the pack.
Yep, and from our vantage point today, boys, one thing that's really impressed me is the ability of the Port District's crowd to consume alcohol in copious quantities. And if you want to have an opposition crowd come to your club, you want the Port Districts. They've been very good in supporting the Goodwood Saints bar today. Tony?
Yeah, it is Phil. Meanwhile, whilst you've been analysing the drinking habits of the supporter bases, Gavin Shepherd's got himself a free.
Yep.
3 in a row.
And he's got a chance to go for the hat-trick. So let's see. He's certainly got...
Back him, Phil?
I definitely back him. With an arm like that, I'm not going to argue with him. Comes in now. Only 15 metres, 45-degree angle. You can see it there. Umpire salutes.
Oh,
it's all very easy for Port Districts now. They had a 93-point loss to the St. Peter's. They had a 144-point win against Athelston, even though it is now a 48-point margin. This is still their closest result for the year.
And I tell you what, he turned towards the chicken barbecue crowd down there, Phil, and he gave him one there. I tell you what happens with a shepherd. They go out with the flock, and they don't do much all day long, but then when it's your turn to shine, you've got to come to the fore, and I reckon Shepherd's just done that for us now. He's started to switch on a bit for us, and the Gavinator, he's kicked a couple.
Well,
they're running away with it here, 8 goals up. And I reckon there's a bit more on. And the ruckman that's been off has rested. He's back on Fraser Thorne. He can't get his hand to it. Carter's impressed me with the tap-outs, but can't capitalise on Goodwood Saints. This is their problem. Fumbling, bumbling. They can't get the ball up. Now he does. Drops the ball. And you watch here. Quick hands inside. 1-2. Well, there's a turnover.
Whoa.
Turn and a bomb. Big pack forms. Out it comes now. Get it up, son. Get it up.
Over.
And does. And big tackle taken high and dropping the ball. That was a good tackle by Zach Dawkins.
Yeah, Zach Hawkins, I think it is, isn't it?
Hawkins
Zach
too.
Hawkins comes out the side to young Ryan Chester. I think he's going to be a player of the future without any doubt, boys, although that one is not his finest kick. It stays in boards. Turned over by Lockie Ryan. He goes into the corridor, but there's all Port Districts there. And number
grab.
44, Nathan Wright, back after 3 years overseas doing what a man has to do. So is Wild Oats. Foster ends up with it, goes left foot. Batty looking for him, can't get it. Nice defence there from Goodwood Saints. Ball out of bounds. Phillip.
Yeah, there's been some nice marks taken by Districts today and some really exceptional kicking skills at times, which has allowed them to move the ball cleaner throughout the course of most of the day. A throw in inside the Districts forward 50. Can they extend their match-winning lead? They will get the hand pass out. This is Gaffney. Jack Gaffney. He's on the board with his second. And I reckon in this quarter that is the fifth goal that Districts have kicked. Goodwood have kicked just one. They are motoring away.
It was interesting there. He actually stopped, looked at the goals and thought, yeah, I'll have a look at them and I'll have a shot. And there wasn't a lot happening around the pack, Sean. There wasn't a lot of pressure. He actually had a lot of time and space there. You start to see fatigue now. We're 20 minutes into the last quarter, naturally, so you'll see the kicks are dropping short, the ball be on the ground a little bit more. But Port Districts, to their credit, if they can play it out, as we're just seeing the umpire ball it up here. Goody Saints, will they win it? No, just stand and tap. Now, the ruckman tapped it to the other ruckman. There's the irony of it. That's what we see at this level. Elms it was with a quick handball out. Up and down again by Goodwood Saints. Now the second effort. Good running there. Geez, they're strong in the tackling. Back after it again. Put the head down. Couldn't quite get free. And that was Burgess, was it? Thanks for that. As the umpire comes in and says, I'll just ball it up here. Ruckman have to work hard. Carter it is again. Big bump now. Out to the left. That's where it was asked for. Clean hand. This is the difference in the skills until there, Sean.
Yeah, it's been really impressed by the lad off the halfback.
Oh, look at
Goodwood
that.
Saints, number 19, Lockie Ryan. I think he's been pretty solid, as has Tommy Corcoran all day. Ball slips through a few players' hands. Shepherd. Ball spills out. Foster, is it? No, it's Carter. Goes low. Get your head down, Worms. Not able to transfer Goodwood Saints out the far side now, and it looks like the ball's going to end up with Levi Elms, who's been pretty solid most of the day.
Well, Tony will be happy to know that based on our margin tipping, I owe Tony something at the game next week. Once Jacko, of course, pays me for this week, but that's another story.
Beers on me after the game.
As we've got the kick, that's a poor turnover. It's going to be Districts to recover. Now, gentlemen, whilst we've got this, Districts moving it down. Shepherd, he can't kick 4 in a row because he's going to send it to Batty, who slides on his knees. That's a little bit acrobatic by the leading full forward. He won't get 9 this week, but he might get 4. What's this? Oh, my goodness, a full forward passing off, and that's why they don't do it, because Hawkins couldn't grab it. Districts to relieve. Gentlemen, Dartfish, player of the game.
Yep. Jack Foster for me, boys. I think he's kicked 4 goals, and he, I think, kicked the first one of the game, got Port Districts away to a good start, and when they got challenged, he stepped up. Wouldn't say for amount of possessions he's been the best player on the ground, but for quality of possessions, I've really liked his game. A couple of times he got bashed up and he got up and thought, he might be in trouble here. But I think he's been the shining light. Look, tough tough to pick the best player because they had, as Tony alluded to earlier, very even spread across the ground. You know, we talked about the Gaffneys. Gavin Shepherd's kicked 3 from centre half forward. Tommy Corcoran's kicked 2. Spent some time in the back half. Weister's been good centre half back and in the ruck. But at the end of the day, for me, guys, it's Jack Foster.
Meanwhile, Anderson has taken the mark and he's got himself his 4th goal. Sorry, Tony. Your thoughts on the player of the game?
I forget. No, that was Carl Matthews. Had the ball about 50 metres out, but it's been and gone now. It doesn't matter. No, he's kicked it in, and was that Burgess? It was that kicked the goal in the end. And yeah, just going back to our player of the day. Yeah, same again. I think the Gaffneys have done very well. Gavin Shepherd's come into things, but Jack Foster, good all-round effort there. Yeah, some really good players across the board. James Batty's been good up forward for them. McInerney, there's probably the one I've really liked, being an old backman. I've really enjoyed his game down back as umpire brings this ball up it goes. Look how bright that scoreboard's showing out now. It's going to end in just about darkness here. Streaming forward now, Goodwood Saints, but there he is, McInerney, as we speak. There's the difference. That mop up there, Sean, clean hands. Not the best skill there because of fatigue, but just that clean hands. Here they go again. Lifts the eyes, hits the target. There's the difference right there, I believe.
I tell you what, there's a lot to get excited about Port Districts because in the back half, their keys are very young. So I speak of at fullback Sammy McKay and at Luke McInerney, both key tools in the back half, still early 20s. And at the front half, you've got Miller Carter playing his second game and Gavin Shepherd, who's been around for a while. But still got a lot of growth left in the Port District side, and they've played some really exciting footy today. But for me, are we happy with Jack Foster?
You're the guru.
Righto.
Yep.
Jack Foster it is for
And
Benny.
just look at their fitness there. That poor old Shepherd there, that was a real hamstring stretcher, but they've pushed all up the ground again now. And this is important when you're playing this game. Play from siren to siren. Don't drop away in the last few minutes of your game because you're going to need to do this in finals.
Oh,
drag yourself off the ground. Who's that, Sean? Tell us.
Gaffney.
Mitch Gaffney it was. Could he be the one? No. The other one that has been very good was... So that's 2 goals, is it? 2 goals, a bit of fun and games going on here. Cooper Gaffney, I thought, also... in the heat of the battle, has been very good and constructive on that left boot. So really
third quarter was
him.
exceptional when they got challenged.
Yep.
He stood up for 10 minutes and just got leather poisoning, had to go off with leather poisoning.
And their use of the ball. Use of the ball under pressure. Anyone can do it in time and space. Well, most of us could.
Well, if he's got leather poisoning, I hope that he watched our show last week, Between the Posts, about Zafoff.
Yes.
Because if you put that on, you don't get leather poisoning. Jacko.
Tony Roach would be pleased with that little plug. Phil, out of the middle again, Port Districts. And speaking to Cooper Gaffney, he might be able to run onto this one. No, not that quick.
Tom Carter, both ruckmen are walking now. Just for Goodwood Saints, he's been really outstanding for them.
Yep.
The unfortunate thing, we saw this the other week with one of the games, he's won 90% of the taps.
Yes.
It's what happens next.
Yeah, look, if Goodwood Saints had won, Jack Carter was best player. There's no question about that. You know, he's been the dominant big bloke on the ground as far as the ruck goes. But unfortunately, they are down a long way, so it's got to go. And
pressure.
Lockie Gregg has a nice intercept mark in the centre ground, just slows proceedings down, looks for the left foot, gets it, hits it out in front of Shepherd, I think it is it. Yes, it is.
Oh.
But nice crumb there by Ben Gould. I liked him too, you young kid. He's only going to get better and better. Shot on goal, just misses.
Have a look.
And
James Batty there's throwing the arms out.
What about me, James Batty?
Oh,
Is that what was going on there, Tony?
That's it.
Well,
what about me?
Tim Zarvey played 14 games last year, did not kick a goal.
Tim Zavrell?
He had a wonderful opportunity then to kick a rare one and couldn't quite pull it in. A dark spot on a pretty good day for Districts fans.
Bit slow getting up there.
One of the cousins
boys.
just didn't get...
Yeah, part of it. 28 minutes gone. The siren is imminent. The Saints will start zipping 3. Districts will be 2-1. And I think it's going to be a launching pad for a good year for Districts. We'll give you scores around Division 1 and other scores that are sent to us before we end. And, of course, stats, thanks to Dartfish, our Dartfish player of the game. It's all coming up, so don't go anywhere just yet.
So Luke McInerney, I actually thought he was lining up for a shot at goal off the half-back flank. Then he
forward as he toned?
was was going to have a go at it, but the old rubber chest, we call that at training, and player could have taken it in the hands, but took it on the chest and it bounced out. So it's been chested over. No one behind the ruckman. Doesn't matter now. Look at them talking to each other. Has he? Has he? They love these screwies too. Oh, and look at him in the goal square. It's bobbled off a player from Goody Saints. So coming on the left foot. He's been all right, Lou Whitelock at times.
Yep.
Jeez, just holds it. He'll kick it back to the wing here. Look at that. What a beautiful kick. Left-footed football too. So Carl Matthews comes into it. Bombs it down. There's only one player. There's no one ahead of him here. He's going to have to kick the space. And space goes for it.
Burgess.
Look at that.
Well, that is the best play of the afternoon from the Goody Saints.
Yep.
From goal square to shot in front of goals.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's about a half too late. As the siren goes, as we wait for the final kick, Tony.
Well, I get to call it by the sounds of things. So Nick Burgess it is on the end of that good bit of play. Dead in front, 30 out. The Port District's fans go crazy and he's missed it.
Once the backman, always the
missed
backman, Tony.
Anyway, a little bit of an anti-climax for Goody Saints, and I'll tell you what, that's a bit of a shellacking there, Sean. 10 goals, 10 to 19 goals, 12. 31 scoring shots. I'm happy with that from Port District. 30 scoring shots in a day is good. They've got 31 and they've got the W.
They have indeed, and you've got the lunch item next week. The goal scorers, let's go through them for Port Districts. 4 to Jack Foster, 3 to Gavin Shepherd and James Batty, 2 to Jack Gaffney and Mitch Gaffney and Miller Carter. Singles to Sean Davidson, Tom Cochran, Jack Cooper. For Goody Saints, 4 to Tom Anderson. It was the sole signing light up forward. Singles for everyone else to Anthony Dempsey, Fraser Goods, Tommy Edwards, Mason Ellis in game 100, Tommy Carter and Ollie Johnson. Very shortly we will have our post-game interview with Ben, and we'll have all the stats, we'll have all the scores. We will take a break, but we'll be back with the post-game show very shortly. One of our great supporters here in the Adelaide Footy League this year is Business Plaza. They do great work helping clubs raise much needed funds. One of those is the Goody Saints. Let's hear from Craig Scott.
The Goody Saints are going to partner with Business Plaza because of their track record, and also they're a major sponsor of the Adelaide Footy League, and they've brought in big companies like Vodafone and Catch Group. We feel we can better engage with our members and our players through the app, and I encourage you to get on board and become a member of Business Plaza.
Hi folks, well we're joined by Josh Giddings from the Pulteney Football Club. Thanks very much for coming down, Josh. Great to have you here.
Tony. Cheers.
I won't go into it, one of my old clubs, but
What a
few years back. Yes, that's correct.
I've been watching these videos, mate.
Oh, mate. So listen, how long have you been captain of the club?
Took over last year. I'm actually co-captain with Dalton Tucker. He's looking after his son tonight, so he can't be here. But we both took it over from Chris Rollins last year. So far, so good.
Big roles with club stalwart, mate, of course.
Absolutely,
played his whole career there, I reckon. And
great leader.
Great bloke. So do you have an expanded leadership group along with captain, vice captain and deputy vice captain?
Yeah, we've got a couple of us in there, so I think there's about 3 or 4 other boys in there that will be able to share the load around. So that should be real helpful.
Excellent. Do you have this is a good one, Matthew. Do you have a pre-game address now? Do you do it in the rooms? Do you do it on the ground? Or do you have 2 bites at the cherry?
So for me, I'm definitely not a planned person. I'm more of a I'll pick the vibe and I'll say what I need to say when I need to say it, when I believe it's the right time to say something. I'll chime into the boys, but I don't sort of like to be controlling. I like to let the boys sort of focus in and do their thing, and then when I think I need to settle them in or get them razzed up, I come in to do that as a leader.
That's very good. There's an art to reading people and reading teams and body language. You don't just say, well, it's 5 minutes to go, so I'm going to do it now.
That's exactly right.
You go by the feel in the rooms and so on, and of course you've got a co-captain that you'll be discussing that with as well.
And players tend to take to that a lot better. They tend to take to that a lot better as opposed to every week, this time, you say this thing sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's a bit monotonous. So,
wow, good on you. Yeah, I really love that attitude. What is your Saturday pre-game meal or drink? So we'll start again with yourself, Brendan.
Yeah, I'll probably just bake an egg sandwich in the morning. I always like to have a couple of killer pythons or something just before the game. But
oh, yeah. Oh, jeez.
Not too much else because I get a bit crook in the guts as well.
Yeah, full of sugar, mate.
Yeah, you need a little bit of a buzz sometimes.
And Josh,
Yeah, running a bit of a similar diet, I think. I usually have eggs on toast and then get stuck into a bag of snakes before the game.
Wow. Well, as I said, premiership, guys. So get on to the snakes if you want to win a premiership. There you go. Interesting one here. So we'll start with you, Sean. What position do you play, and how does this affect your communication with the rest of the team?
Yeah, I just play on the ball mostly, and basically because I get to get around the whole ground, I end up organising most centre ball ups and give everyone on the team a bit of a bake every now and again. So.
You can see the stats. Welcome back, folks. You can see there the stats thanks to Dartfish. But Ben Tippett's been a live wire getting a Dartfish player of the game. Take it away, Ben.
Thanks, Phil. Down here with Jack Foster, who's our player of the game, as you said. Made a good win today, following on from last week. That really sets up your season.
Yeah, definitely. Coming off round one, we had a pretty bad loss. But last week it was good to get a pretty good win under our belt and continue today. So it was really good, yeah.
And your own personal game today, player of the match, a good effort from you?
Yeah, it was good to get a few more minutes on the ground today, which so I've struggled a bit lately. But no, it's good to get on the end of a few as well. So yeah.
And what's the role the coach has got you playing this year?
He's just got me sort of just hitting up on their spare at the back. Most teams like to dish out the back, so that's my role. Just sort of stop that and try and get on the scoreboard as well as much as I can.
Very good. And Payneham Norwood next week. What can you expect from them?
Pretty tough game. It's always been pretty close between us, so yeah, be a tough one.
Great. Well, as player of the week, they get to take home the fabulous Dartfish beanie. So that's yours, mate. You can wear that back to the pub tonight and maybe into town later on.
Lovely. Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Thanks for your time. Thanks, Jack.
Cheers.
Hey, Jack.
Back to you, boys.
Yes, and a well-deserved Jack Foster with 4 goals. I thought he was, when the game was alive early, he'd get the first one to get him going, and then also in the last quarter when they needed one early, he was good. Yes, Phil. Geez, settle down, Phil. Let's have a look at the stats here. Inside 50s for the last quarter. Not a lot in it. Goodwood Saints finished 15, Port Districts 13, 11-9 in turnovers, but it was the hit-outs. Goodwood Saints in control for most of the day in that area. Tackles pretty similar. Centre clearances 5-3. 8 all and clearances around the ground, as you can see. Free kicks was the interesting one. Port District's 6 free kicks to 1 in the last quarter, and 12-8 to Goodwood Saints in the second quarter. But over the course of the day, pretty even there.
Probably with that one too, Sean, I'd allude to the turnovers. The same in the first quarter, but the last 3 quarters, Goody Saints, just those pressure acts by Port Districts put pressure on Goodwood Saints, and you can see from their turnovers. One thing I'm interested in is turnovers when you're under pressure and then perceived pressure, and turnovers when you're not under pressure, because that pressure has been there earlier, if that makes sense. So, something there to work on at training for them. Put a little bit of pressure on at training and execute your skills.
So, Tony, from a Goodwood Saints perspective, Zip and 3, where would you go from here?
Well, it's an interesting one, not knowing the inside things of what they're doing at training, but as I've just alluded to there, maybe their work under pressure, the forward delivery. And the other thing that really stood out for me, what I would call a hotspot, is that their ruckman is a really good ruckman. He gets first use of the ball, he taps it to the ground. There's a famous saying, I guess we go to, is it's not who wins the tap, it's what happens next. One of mine used to be, if you win the tap and let the ball hit the ground, you're really telling the opposition we don't want the ball. Capitalise, get the bodies in around, provide protection. And at one point in the call there, we did call it, there were about 3 or 4 heavy bodies through the centre of the ground just to add a bit of grunt and protect the ball carriers. And they've got a few problems there because they're winning the taps, can't get it in, and then their delivery into the forward line is another big hot spot.
Well, for those that have joined us from the other games, you can see the final score here at Goodwood Oval. Port Districts 19-12, 126. Goodwood 10-10-70. Goodwood got within a goal about the 12-minute mark of the third quarter, and after that point, I reckon Port Districts kicked about 9 goals to 2. And the main goal scorers, without going through all of them, Jack Foster, our Dartfish player of the game, with 4, Batty with 3, and also Gavin Shepherd. 3 in succession in the final quarter. That was key in blowing it open. Tom Anderson, 4 for Goodwood Saints. Jacko, Tony's talked about Goody Saints. Your thoughts about Port Districts?
Yeah, I think Simon Madden be extremely happy at the end of that game. Right from the outset, I thought they were at it. Their game plan was obvious. to us watching the game. They weren't prepared to just bang the ball along each side setting with a loose player. They were able to hit the short target. Their skills were good. Their ability to keep the ball flat was good in comparison to Goodwood Saints, who quite often early in the game were just bombing the ball, and that got them in trouble. But the thing that impressed me most about Port District's boys was the spread of talent right across the field, and every player had some sort of role in the win. It wasn't a game where you sit down and you pick the best players and 5 or 6 players jump out at you. I'm going through the list and I look at the forward line and I go, yes, what? What's going on?
We're on camera, Sean. Away you go, mate. It's the trailer. You're correct with that. Spread of the players. The other thing for them, Sean, take us through it. They won every quarter. Goody Saints sort of fought back a couple of times and then they capitalised. So they won every quarter quite convincingly.
Yes. Well, I'm not sure whether I'm supposed to be giving a synopsis of the best players or what do you want? Phil? What do you want? Righto. Well, let me finish then. James Batty kicked 3, was good up forward. Shepherd kicked 3 in a row, was good.
Hey, Gerardo, mate.
Gaffney 2. So I thought the forwards were presented well and kicked the goals, but equally impressed by the blokes in the back half. Sammy McKay was terrific all day at full back. Matty Wiestra, either in the ruck or at centre half back, was good. Luke McInerney as the spare back there was terrific. Good spread of talent right through, and over to you, Ben.
Thanks, Jacko. Just from me, I thought you said it really well before. The wind was definitely a factor today, and what I really liked was Port District's ability to hit targets and score into the wind. I think that was the difference for me.
Yes.
Yeah, well, certainly, and I'll tell you what, the late start to the game meant a later end to the game. Wasn't quite dark, but it's getting down to dusk, and it was a really good crowd out here. The rain stayed away, and Port District, as we said, 4-quarter game, really showed what they're about. Maybe just that slow start to the season those first couple of weeks, but I'll tell you what, haven't they really taken off here? And this is a big win. We came here today thinking Goodwood Saints had an opportunity today to get their season up and going, and I reckon our tips early on in the Division 1 tips at the start of the year, we thought we had good. I think we all had Goodwood Saints up there, didn't we? Fighting for a top 4, top 5 spot.
Well, here's the challenge for the Goodwood Saints Footy Club with 3 games in, with 6 to go. They brought some blokes into the club this year. We've spoken about that a few times. George and Max Emilian Thring, who didn't play. Favretto and Johnson from the country as well. Now, I'd be starting to ask some questions if they don't get through next week's game and they can't make finals. I'd be starting to say, are you boys going to be here next year? Because we're pushing some of the blokes into the B grade that will be here next year that we'd be better off exposing to A grade footy, particularly if they've got some good young kids coming through. So some tough decisions for Goodwood Saints to make, I reckon.
I agree 100% there, Sean. And I admire the coach, first year there, but you have to show courage now with your decision making and look at your list. Where are we at? Who is performing? Who isn't performing? Maybe have a few heart-to-heart discussions with players. I'll tell you a couple of players that did stand out on a positive for them. Tom Carter, I spoke about him. He played most of the game in the ruck. In that third quarter, yes, he went forward, but he still participated and competed really well.
Yeah, he did. Good
so
game.
I loved his game. Lou Whitelock at times, I found that a lot of their players were in and out in patches. Mason Ellis, geez, he's hard at the ball, good competitor, but Port District matched his physicality. Josh Slape was really good at
his
times.
Game, yes.
Tom Anderson, I would have had him equally first, if not second best. Really liked his game. He kicked 4, played on the wing. He played on the wing. He was down back. He went up forward. Unfortunately, they need 2 or 3 of his type players on the ground. He covered a lot of ground. He really worked hard. He competed. What I liked about Tom Anderson as well, and this is a sign of a good player, you've got to be able to win the 50-50s.
Yes.
Not just the stuff out in the open, but win the 50-50s. When the hard ball's there and it's your turn to go, and he really did well with that today. And the other one I really liked, I'd like to see more of, because I reckon they can build around this guy, and I might have liked him in the midfield a bit more, was Holtzbauer.
Yes, he was good, and so was Lockie Ryan, number 19, off the back half. I thought his game was pretty good. So they had some good signs. You know, Nick Burgess has traditionally played that hard defensive role, but he's, for whatever reason, had to go forward. Tommy Lynch had his moments, only his 2nd or 3rd game back from West Adelaide. So, you know, they've got some good young players in that side as well. But, you know, we did speak about the fact that this was a critical game, and at the end of the day, boys, they lost by 9 goals, and that's a bad result.
Alrighty, so that just about wraps up. Let's look around the rest of the OTR Division 1. We did have St. Peter's up at halftime. We don't have a final score there. In the dog fight, the Jets versus the Bombers, Brighton are 3-0 with a 39-point victory over Unley Mercedes. Prince Alfred got up by 28 points over Ross Trevor, so I reckon St. Peter's, if they held their lead, Brighton, yes, and Prince Alfred, yes, are all unbeaten. Ross Trevor with the one loss, Port Districts with the one loss, and then you've got Payne and Norwood Union. Well, they're on the board. The Premiers have their first win, and first win. That was by a rather large margin, as you can see now. We're getting all the camera shots in the post game. Tony, we've got some scores from Division 4 and a big one, Div 7.
Yes, Division 4, Kilburn, unfortunately at home, went down to Smosh Westlake 61 to 125. Bit of a shellacking there. That's 64 points in my book. Pulteney got over the line by 10 points over Jeps Cross at Pulteney. And Walkerville went down by 1 point at home to Pembroke Old Scholars.
Oh, you like that result, Tone?
Oh.
And
tell you about the club song one day.
And the Carnet Division 7, not the result that we were hoping for.
Well, Adelaide Lutheran, geez, haven't they come out on top? And that was down at Flinders Uni, 126 to 75. So that's 51-point win to Adelaide Lutheran away.
The Crabs
against the Crabs.
The Crabs have had a bad day.
We've been following them. We've been following them. Maybe the unsettling of the ocean and the Crabs just haven't been on the move, mate.
Yep. Another score in from Division 5. Trinity Old Scholars 13-14 have knocked off Para Hills 10-5.
So that's a 27-point win in Div 6. Got a couple of Div 6 ones. St. Paul's have kept their winning streak alive. They're 3-0. They defeated Marion, the Rams, by just 10 points.
Oh, geez, they're on a win.
And then there was Elizabeth Eagles at home to Mawson Lakes. And you look at this score and you just hope that there hasn't been a typo somewhere, because it was Elizabeth winners by 133 points over Mawson Lakes. So, good effort there by our adopted team up north, the Eagles of Elizabeth.
Did they have more than 30 scoring shots, Phil?
That I don't know. I just have the final score. I only have one across Division 2 and 3, and Scotch have won their second game of the season, 9-15-69. 40-point winners over Salisbury North, who are winless after 3 games.
What's going on down there, Tony?
4-5-29. Of course, we can't talk about teams playing poorly, possibly getting relegated. That's for next year, because there is no promotion and relegation. But as we have discussed ad infinitum, ad nauseum, if you're zipping 3 to start the season this year, finals chance is pretty gone.
And just for our viewers at home, this is our fantastic new setup, the trailer, and I never realised you blokes were that. I never realised that you blokes were that tall. Fair dinkum, because I'm standing up and I'm 6'1.5". So I hope everyone's enjoyed it. Very quickly, there's a gentleman we've been alluded to has been watching today, Gippsland Footy, Owen Carter. So I'd like to send a special shout out to Owen, because they've got no footy over there in Victoria, and we're very fortunate over here that we are playing. But we're very thankful that our friends in country Victoria and metropolitan Victoria and other states as well are switching on and viewing our games over here. So I hope we've enjoyed the telecast.
Goodwood Saints are 0-2, aren't they? They're 0-3.
0-3.
Right, okay.
They were 0-2 earlier today. Of course, this is a Sports Interactive production collaborating with Filming Footy. We want to thank our supporters. It is the OTR Division match of the day. The Elders Weather app kept us rain-free.
There we are.
Thank you, Tony. Kept us rain-free through the course of the A grade. Dartfish, great supporters with the beanie for the player of the game. And, of course, the stats. The interchanger, well, on this side, a bit hard to see the interchanges, but we thank them for the team selections and the interchanges through the game. And Business Plaza, of course, with the halftime break. Next week, we're off to see a rematch of last year's Div 2 Grand Final. Have Van Will travel? We're off to Athelston.
Ooh, that's
which for me at Happy Valley is the furthest trip I'm going to have to do this season, to see the Raggies, who have started poorly, but against Unley might be half a chance.
They got that little tin shed there, but they have, I'll tell you, I'm not taking Mickey here, they've got a great barbecue down there at Athelstone. It's worth the trip. I'm leaving now.
I look forward to trying that. And the other games in Division 1 next week, just to give you that little bit of a look forward, it is, my computer will move it over. I'll come back to that. Between the Posts, midweek, make sure you watch that for all the marks of the week, the goals of the week, Tony's Tales, Jacko's Yesterday's Heroes, a wrap of all the divisions, plenty of predictions. It does go on for a fair while, but there is plenty to enjoy.
We're out at Lockley's this week too. We're going out to another club, bit of a clubland session out there.
We are indeed. We've been to Flinders Uni, we've been to Elizabeth, now we're going to Lockley. So that's north, south, west. If you're out east, give us a call and we'll have the compass covered.
Houghton.
So thanks for joining us, folks. It feels like this is debrief goes on forever. I was lucky enough to miss the last 2 weeks.
It's a 5 o'clock finish, and we've got 1 minute.
Yeah.
So I say thank you to Tony for your Tony. Thank you for your input today.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for giving us something today,
And Jacko, it's been great to have you stay to the end. Welcome.
Good to be here. Good to be here. See you, folks. We'll see you next week.
Thanks to Alejandro, the camera crew, Ben Tippett on the boundary doing some work with some technical stuff. Fantastic effort by the crew. We'll be back next week. Good night.